Chapter 111. Lotus 19. When I open my eyes again, the surroundings have turned into a sea of blood. The only survivors are cultivators. The entire Cheon Sac city has crumbled, and all the mortals left nothing but white bones behind, their life forces rising into the sky and converging in the void. The area is filled with their blood. At least the cultivators seem unharmed, but the weaker chi refining cultivators begin to vomit blood, and their dantians burst open, spewing out spiritual power and life force into the sky. Stop it. Cough, cough. I vomit blood and stand up. My whole body is aching. Looking around, Kim Young-hoon is spewing more blood than me, barely managing to stand. Didn't I tell you to stop? Despite my shouts and swinging my formless sword, the pure spiritual force and gang chi from my inner core are nearly depleted, causing the formless sword to disperse in the air. Yuan Li continues to activate the blood sacrifice formation without paying any attention to me, absorbing the life force of numerous mortals and the spiritual power and life force of cultivators into his blood spirit. Cough, cough. I continue to vomit blood. What about the others? Affected by the formation, even chi-building cultivators like Buk Jong-ho, Buk Hyung-hwa, and the Cheonmin Ryong are staggering out from the rubble in the distance, also drenched in blood. We gather in one place. Is this the end? Nascent soul cultivator. Haha, there's no way we can beat that. Buk Jong-ho and Cheonmin Ryong look up at Yuan Li in the sky with a look of despair. I grit my teeth. If I risk my life, maybe it's possible. Severing mountain swordsmanship's final move. Foolish old man moves mountains. Maybe I can at least injure that nascent soul monster. Alright, I'll risk my life too. Kim Young-hoon, wiping the blood from his mouth, speaks with a haggard face. His hands tremble as he touches his abdomen. There are several holes in his stomach. It's impossible for him, who's not a chi-building cultivator, to survive such injuries. I'm already a dead man. I'll hit that damned guy at least once before I die. If Eun-yun and I risk our lives, surely. Just then, suddenly, Kim Young-hoon locks eyes with Buk Hyung-hwa. Buk Hyung-hwa seemed to mutter something. It looked like telepathy. After hearing her telepathy, Kim Young-hoon looks surprised. What did she say? I try to read her lips but the blood flowing from my head obscures my vision, and I fail to read properly. Kim Young-hoon shakes his head with a bitter expression, and Buk Hyung-hwa nods. What conversation? That's when it happens. Buk Hyung-hwa forms a hand seal. Whoosh! The bee puppet flies from the rubble towards us. Clank, clank. The bee puppet, damaged by the earlier impact, moves awkwardly. Vroosh! As she forms another seal, a protective formation unfolds around us. Judging by the soundproofing spell, it looks intended to prevent Yuan Li from overhearing our conversation. Yuan Li glances at us for a moment but focuses back on the blood sacrifice formation without much care. He probably thinks of our efforts as the last struggle of insects. Thanks to Senior Cheonmin weakening the formation, this puppet can perform space teleportation once. My eyes widen. Miss Hyung-hwa. This is truly fortunate news. Hurry, get on it and escape. Yes, she must have set the spatial coordinates for the bee puppet to the neighboring Yeondu city. If she goes to the neighboring city, it will be hard for Yuan Li to follow. Yeondu city, being relatively inside the domain of Biokra and next to the territory of the Gongmyo clan, is safe. However, upon hearing my words, Hyung-hwa looks around. Swoosh, swoosh, the power of the blood sacrifice formation grows stronger. Not only mortals, but also the dantians of middle and low-level chi refining cultivators burst, rising into the sky, and even peak chi refining cultivators are vomiting blood and dying. It seems we're the only ones who can possibly survive. But when I talked to Sir Young-hoon just now, he said his death is certain. So among us, only father, me, Senior Cheonmin, and you dear can escape on the bee puppet. But looking at the puppet's condition, it will break after one teleportation. Then, what? Hyung-hwa looks at Cheonmin Ryong. Why don't Senior Cheonmin go? However, Cheonmin Ryong laughs bitterly and speaks. Forget it, I'm an old man who has lived enough, and there's not much life left anyway. Do you want me to live with nightmares of abandoning my friends for the rest of my life? I've done everything needed for the clan, so let one of the younger ones go instead of bothering this old man. Saying so, he steps out of Buk Hyung-hwa's protective formation, indicating he will no longer listen. Kugugugu. As if to resist until the end, he raises the thousand lustrous forest sea method, glaring at Yuan Li. Green spiritual energy blossoms around Cheonmin Ryong, forming a formation diagram. I'll die here, but I won't die easily. Kugugugu. Cheonmin Ryong's formation sprouts green trees in the form of spiritual energy which grow and intertwine, forming a giant tree to shield us from Yuan Li. Kim Young-hoon smiles, holding his broken saber, and steps out of the protective formation. I'm already dead. What more is there to say? I'm off. Tadat. He activates all his remaining energy, climbing the giant tree made by Cheonmin Ryong with his surpassing radiant saber. The tree looks as if a golden bird has perched upon it. I too follow Kim Young-hoon out of the protective formation. But then, thud, Buk Jong-ho and Buk Hyung-hwa grab me at the same time. What are you doing? The two exchange glances, then smile and pull me back. Where are you going, son-in-law? It will be better for Orabeoni to live. Don't talk nonsense. If Young-hoon and I risk our lives, we can at least wound Yuan Li. I heard it when Sir Young-hoon and I were exchanging telepathy. Buk Hyung-hwa looks at me. He said, even if you and Sir Young-hoon risk your lives, the chances of inflicting a significant wound on that old monster are slim. What does that matter? Shouldn't we at least avenge the people of Cheon Sak City? Then, son-in-law. Buk Jong-ho speaks with a serious face. Shouldn't we, who have lived in Cheon Sak City much longer than you, be the ones to do so? This city holds memories of his wife for my father and my childhood with my mother. Even if I die today, I won't leave this place. Elder Buk. Please stop, Miss Hyung-hwa. Quiet, you seem out of strength anyway. Go ahead, I have no intention of fleeing from this place where I lived with my wife. As for my daughter, after glancing at Buk Hyung-hwa, he looks at me and continues. She has decided to save you. Quack, Buk Jong-ho's spell firmly grasps my body. I try to break his spell with my formless sword, but it's difficult to resist with my depleted strength. Vroom, stay alive. The bee puppet grabs me, and I cough blood, looking at them. No, don't do this. Miss Hyung-hwa, I actually, Kuek. Buk Hyung-hwa comes close, hugs me, and places her mother's jade norige in my pocket. Thank you for everything, and I've prepared a gift for you at the destination. Ah, Boong, I try with all my might to break Buk Jong-ho's binding and switch places with Buk Hyung-hwa. I can die, even if I die, Then, Buk Hyung-hwa forms a hand seal. Farewell, dear, Fwoosh. The protective formation releases, and the bee puppet swiftly ascends into the sky. In the distance, Yuan Li is startled and forms a hand seal. Cheonmin Ryong's giant tree and Kim Young-hoon's surpassing radiant saber are engulfed in the bloody tide. Buk Jong-ho uses a white tiger-shaped magic artifact, and Buk Hyung-hwa also starts countering with numerous magic artifacts from her storage device. Kim Young-hoon begins using Foolish Old Man Moves Mountains, and the remaining chi-building cultivators burn their lives as a last resort. The last scene I see is Buk Hyung-hwa looking back at me. The bee puppet breaks through the void. Fwoosh, peesh, ah, boom, I fall in front of Yeondu City in Biokra. The bee puppet shattered into pieces mid-teleportation. Kyukura, bleeding, I staunch my wounds and immediately begin circulating my internal energy, pouring it into my inner core. Kugugugu. My inner core absorbs the energy, rapidly filling with power. Trembling, I reach into the storage pouch Buk Hyung-hwa had given me and pull out a few spirit stones. Womb. I absorb the spirit stone's energy, rapidly recovering more spiritual energy. After a while, my strength somewhat recovers. Realizing I can generate a few gang spheres, I immediately stand up. I have to go. I have to return to Cheon Sak City. Just then, Kugugugu. As I move, the sand rises, revealing a hidden formation. This is. In the center of the formation, something shines and rises up. It's a small wooden box. Remembering Buk Hyung-hwa's gift, I quickly pocket the box and dash madly towards Cheon Sak City. Please, please. Yeondu City quickly recedes behind me, and the scenery rushes by. I run forward frantically, frothing at my mouth. Please, how long have I been running? How much time has passed? The familiar smell of blood reaches my nose, and soon, Cheon Sak City comes into view again. The blood sacrifice formation that had enveloped the city is gone. Please, I rush towards Cheon Sak City. Squelch, squelch, Cheon Sak City is a sea of blood. Bodies are scattered everywhere, and I, trembling, begin searching through the city. Then, beyond the rubble of a collapsed building, I find the ones I am looking for. Ah, Kim Young-hoon's body is neatly laid out in 8 segments. Cheonmin Ryong lays dead with bloodwood sprouting all over his body. Buk Jong-ho is dead with his neck missing and a hole in his dantian. And Buk Hyung-hwa, she's alive. In a dazed state, I scramble through the debris towards her. She's breathing, but her lower body is gone. From where her dantian used to be, everything below has completely vanished. Hyunghwa, half out of my mind, I rush to her. Just wait. I'll find your lower body. Babbling nonsense, I grab her hand. She's barely breathing, thanks to the little pure spiritual force left in her meridians. I press her acupoints to ease her pain and squeeze gang chi out of my body into hers. Why you can live, if we find your lower body. Then, she looks at me. Quote. My dantian was torn out, how can you speak of survival? Her voice is cold. Cultivator Co. Hyunghwa, don't give up. I'll save you. Cultivator Co. She speaks coldly. Don't delude yourself. I'm dying now. Oddly, she seems more rational than ever, even in the face of death. Listen to my last wish. No, what last wish? You're not going to die. Cultivator Co. You are a foolish person. Yes, regrettably, I plan to use your influence to raise my standing in the clan and avenge my mother against Elder Gongmyo Cheon-sak. Quote. I guess you thought we had real feelings. My father encouraged you, making you believe something was there. It was all prearranged with my father to lure you to me. It's liberating to confess now that I'm dying. Quote. From the moment I saw your power, I planned to seduce you into a political marriage. I thought you were just an exceptional chi-building cultivator, but to have core formation strength. I told my father, and immediately, tears well up in my eyes. Miss Hyunghwa, why are you so cold? Why call our time together a lie? Why sound so cold, yet? Your intent, is it really directed at me? Hyunghwa's intent, even facing death, is not tinged with fear. Her intent is a clear pink, covering only me. Through Hyunghwa's intent, her heart speaks to me. You're too naive for a chi-building cultivator, Cultivator Co. I don't want to be a burden to you in the future. Since you came, at least listen to my last wish. So please forgive me for speaking like this. Bury my father next to my mother's grave, and me under my workshop. If possible, gather the remains of Cheon-sak City's people. I'm leaving now, but I wish you'd forget me and live a new life. You can take the remaining artifacts from my workshop. Think of it as compensation for gathering the remains. I wish I could have given you more. Anyway, sorry for using you. I didn't have feelings for you, but you were a great tool to keep the pests away. I'm sorry for saying this. But by saying this, I hope you forget me and find happiness with someone new. Quote. Why are you crying? Don't cry. Quote. There was much I disliked about you. Couldn't even make artifacts. There was so much I wanted to do with you. Clumsy hands, poor mind, sometimes arrogant towards the weaker. As clumsy as you are warm, as simple-minded as you are gentle, as arrogant as you are caring. Oddly emotional for no reason. Stop your blubbering. I hate men who are unmanly. I'm sorry for leaving first. Don't cry. Now, I can meet my mother. In front of my mother, I wanted to pledge myself to you. Her pink intent turns into a flower, enveloping me. Well, farewell, Cultivator Co. I wish to be with you again. Co Orabeoni. Drip, drop, I can't see through my tears. Her pink intent obscures my entire vision. Then, her intent begins to fade. Her body grows cold. As Hyunghwa's intent scatters, her breathing ceases. Wiping my tears, I see her soul ascend to the heavens. I try to grab her, but my hands just pass through. Her soul flies into the void and disperses. I watch, hollow-eyed. Around me, pink intent still swirls. Not Hyunghwa's, but mine. Soon, my pink intent turns blood red. Like the blood flooding Cheon-sak City, my intent turns red, filling the surroundings. Holding Hyunghwa's lifeless hand, I speak with a trembling voice. Wait, just a moment. Drip, drop, somehow, the color of my tears are black. No, it's not the tears that are black. From my eyes, mouth, nose, ears, from the 7 orifices. No, from every pore of my body. Black curses from the Yin Soul Ghost incantation seep out. The creator of the Yin Soul Ghost incantation is said to have handled 108 curses simultaneously. But the number of curses emanating from my body has already far surpassed 108. Whoosh! As I inhale, the curses crumble into spiritual energy and flow into my body. In an instant, my dantian is filled with spiritual power again. I convert the spiritual power into internal energy and store it in my inner core. SSSSs. A chilling cold spreads around me. I stand up. With my recovered internal energy, I summon the formless sword and clench it in my hand. I'll rip out his heart. With tears mixed with black curses streaming down my face, I turn and soar above Cheon Sak City. Translator notes. When will RMC be able to walk the flowery path also? How did I cry twice when reading this and translating this seas? Chapter 112, Lotus 20. I will kill him. I will kill that creature. Fiercely, savagely, I will shred his body into 10,000 pieces and kill him. Swoosh. As I fly through the air, kicking the void, swarms of black curses pour out around me like ants, leaving their mark. I follow his trail with the demon senses active. It isn't hard to track him down. The spiritual energy of the places he had passed through are all unstable and flickering, and the scent of blood is blatantly strong. Whoosh. I absorb the yin soul ghost incantations swirling around me. I turn them into spiritual power, converting that spiritual power into internal energy for my formless sword, and then accelerate the formless sword even further. Boom. The sound of breaking air rumbles, and the impact of me rushing through the void causes the surrounding sand to scatter and turn into a sandstorm. With bloodshot eyes, I run towards an area with a strong scent of blood. Quote. It's a desert tribe located south of Cheon Sak City. This tribe too has turned into a sea of blood. Yuan Li is continuing his blood sacrifice, gradually regaining his nascent soul cultivation, and his speed is starting to increase. I won't be able to catch up at this rate. He is likely to keep getting faster. What should I do? As I ponder, a brown flying Dharma treasure zooms towards me. Boom. I block the Dharma treasure with my formless sword and glare at the person who shot it. You. Is it you? Are you the one who massacred this tribe under the Gongmyo clan? He looks to be an elder of the core formation stage of the Gongmyo clan. His face bloodshot, beholds the massacred tribe and shouts at me. You. Answer me. I swing my formless sword without a word. Kugugugu. Although weaker than when I was fully prepared for facing Yuan Li, I am still a formidable core formation level force. The elder of the Gongmyo clan is startled by my power and withdraws his Dharma treasure, glaring at me. I look at him with empty eyes. If you saw what just happened, you would know. The energy of the blood sacrifice in this city and the energy of my strike are completely different. I am also chasing the monster responsible for this. This creature killed all my dear ones. But, there's no proof that you're not involved in this. Do you know how precious these resources are? Compensate immediately. Kulong. I send another formless sword attack towards the annoying elder of the Gongmyo clan. A small valley forms right next to him. Noisy, shut up. Before I kill you. Swoosh. Every time I open my mouth, hundreds of curses gush out, filling my surroundings. The curse spells are countless, filling the area around me, appearing akin to black mist surrounding me. How can I trust the words of a devilish cultivator like you who practices such devilish arts? Quote. This is not a devilish art. Cough. Feeling a tightness in my chest, I cough, and more curses flood out of my mouth. It's a method of curse incantations that only realizes one's own pain to understand pain. Yes, a method that sacrifices no one, a method that doesn't need to sacrifice anyone. This is not a devilish art. I didn't sacrifice anyone, I scream, clutching my head. Hack. Black curses continue to cascade every time my mouth opens. But why? Why are they taking them from me? Why? I cry black tears mixed with curses, holding my head, emitting a black mist of curse spells from my whole body. Why? It's then that the elder of the Gongmyo clan, who has been watching me go mad, flinches. Flash. From far away, in the direction of Cheon Sak City, a blue light flashes, and someone flies over. Who killed Ryong? Who? Cheonmin Jung-jin, the head of the Cheonmin clan. He seems to have rushed over in a hurry after hearing Cheonmin Ryong's message, but it was already too late. His eyes meet mine amidst the black mist. You. What is this about? Explain. The head of the Cheonmin clan. Do you know him? A friend of Cheonmin Ryong. I suspect this person is the monster behind this massacre. That black thing. If that's not devilish arts, then what is? Quote. I will vouch for his identity. Ryong, who was in Cheon Sak City, is also dead. This person was Ryong's friend, so it can't be him. Cheonmin Jung-jin vouched for my identity, and I explained the situation to him with empty eyes. So, you're saying a nascent soul-old monster pretending to be of core formation in the heaven-treading desert has started this massacre now that the heavenly being seniors have ascended? I nod, and both Cheonmin Jungjin and the Gongmyo clan elders' faces grow serious after hearing my explanation. The elder of the Gongmyo clan says gravely, "We must catch him. If what this person says is true, then this Yuan Li, the nascent soul-old monster, is not only regaining his power by collecting his blood spirit but also absorbing the lives of each city, becoming stronger than his original cultivation. Now is the weakest he will be, we must catch and kill him." But Cheonmin Jungjin looks unwell. "What do you intend to do? That nascent soul-old monster is gradually regaining his nascent soul strength and becoming faster and stronger, while we can barely match up, let alone catch him." The elder of the Gongmyo clan takes out a communication device. "I will contact the elders and clan head. You too, contact the elders of the Cheonmin clan and gather the core formation cultivators. If that Yuan Li went to the northern grasslands as well, the core formation cultivators of those tribes must be urgently chasing him by now." He declares, "We must immediately gather all the core formation cultivators of the continent and kill that nascent soul-old monster." The two core formation cultivators sent messages to their clans. "Do you have any idea how that Yuan Li, the nascent soul cultivator, might move?" I shake my head. "I can follow the traces, but his speed is increasing, widening the gap." Then, I remember the location of the castle where Yuan Li resided. I don't know where the old monster will go, but I know where he will return." "What, really?" I recall the black castle I had seen in the corresponding location, and share this information with them. "Yes, then let's inform the elders of the clan and the head of the Byuk clan. The whole continent should know that a nascent soul-old monster has started his rampage. I'll also send messages to the Jin clan of Yangguo and the Mokli clan. Shengxi will be informed by the clans of Yangguo, and the Gongmyo clan will contact the lords of the eastern states beyond the heaven-treading desert. I don't know if the nascent soul-old monster has already visited there, but at least we can warn them. The Cheonmin clan will also get in contact with the chiefs of the northern grasslands." Cheonmin Jungjin and the elder of the Gongmyo clan, with serious expressions, took out their communicators and made contacts. After a while, both nodded. "With this, the whole continent should be informed. Let's go east to the coordinates this person has given, where the nascent soul-old monster will return." After speaking, the elder of the Gongmyo clan flies towards the heaven-treading desert using the flying escape technique. Cheonmin Jungjin looks at me. "You should go back and take care of the remains of those who left. You were a friend of Ryong, and his remains too. Let's go together." I gaze at Cheonmin Jungjin. "I also have business with that creature. You don't understand, do you? With your skill, merely at the chi building stage." Boom! I swing my formless sword, showing my true strength. Cheonmin Jungjin stares at me in surprise. I apologize for hiding my strength. I am of core formation prowess. Please let me take part in avenging Cheonmin Ryong. Understood. Cheonmin Jungjin nods, and I fly with him to Yuan Li Castle. Whoosh! There's a formation here. Me, Cheonmin Jungjin, and the elder of the Gongmyo clan observe the giant sandstorm in the middle of the heaven-treading desert. Seeing this formation, it's likely that within is the residence of the nascent soul-old monster. I don't know much about formations. Both look a bit perplexed, and I silently step forward to start analyzing the formation. "Ah, do you know how to handle formations? It's fortunate indeed. After all, you did research formations with Ryong." Thinking of Cheonmin Ryong, Cheonmin Jungjin clenches his fists tightly. Days pass. Boom! In the middle of the heaven-treading desert. Here, core formation cultivators began to gather. Core formation cultivators from the northern grasslands, dressed in the attire of their tribes. Core formation cultivators from beyond the eastern direction of the heaven-treading desert, ruling as lords. The three clans of Biokra. Cheonmin Jungjin, head of the Cheonmin clan, and his 6 core formation elders. Head of the Gongmyo clan, Gongmyo Ryong, and his 6 core formation elders. Head of the Byuk clan, Byuk Cheon Gi, and his 5 core formation elders. The 2 clans of Yangguo. Head of the Mokli clan, Mokli Wang Cheon, and his 7 elders. Head of the Jin clan, Jin Yo Woon, and his 5 elders. The 7 clans of Shengxi. Head of the Jinlu clan, Jinlu Yian Cheon, and her 8 elders. Head of the Ha clan, Ha Ryan. Head of the Geo clan, Geo Bok 1. Head of the Jun clan, Jun Jiyal. Head of the Yoljan clan, Yoljan Ri. Head of the Ori clan, Ori Cheon Ryong. Head of the Jaeon clan, Jaeon Chil Son. 49 core formation cultivators from the western 3 countries of the heaven-treading desert. 43 core formation cultivators from the northern grasslands of the heaven-treading desert. 54 core formation cultivators from the eastern states of the heaven-treading desert. And 3 rare core formation loose cultivators. Over 100 core formation cultivators densely surround the formation. One of the tribal chiefs from the northern grasslands shouts angrily. This is outrageous. We can't even count how many tribes that nascent soul old monster has massacred. Our Biokra as well. That nascent soul old monster has committed massacres in dozens of cities. We can't let such a devil roam free. He hid his cultivation waiting for the heavenly being seniors to ascend. Nobody knows what vile intentions that old monster harbors. We can't let that nascent soul old monster roam free. Many core formation cultivators outside the formation are seething with anger, and a few formation masters among them began to dismantle the sandstorm formation with my help. We must wait here for that old monster, ambush, and kill him. Among them, one of the 3 core formation hermits, an old man wearing a bamboo hat and gray robes, raises his voice angrily. He killed my great-grandson. I will kill him. I will grind his bones and eat his flesh. Just like me, those who have lost loved ones. That old monster massacred a tribe under the Gongmyo clan. How precious are the ores mined from that tribe. That nascent soul old monster must pay. Those who seek compensation, to massacre the bloodline of the grasslands, what a disgrace. I will tear his flesh and restore the honor of my fallen tribes. Those who sought honor, that creature completely destroyed our state city. Such a dangerous being cannot be left free. He must be eliminated quickly. Those who want to eradicate Yuan Li before he becomes stronger. Many opinions are exchanged, but the conclusion is one. Yuan Li, the Bloodwood practitioner. This murderous old monster must be killed. Boom. Thanks to the efforts of me and several core formation masters, the sandstorm formation disappeared, revealing the black castle inside. First, let's invade his headquarters and destroy any Dharma treasures or formations that might aid him. Yes, good. We need to be fully prepared to face the nascent soul old monster. Silently, I fly among the core formation cultivators towards the black castle. I approach Cheonmin Jung-jin and inform him regarding the ability of the castle. Cheonmin Jung-jin shouts to others. This castle is a kind of Dharma treasure. The nascent soul old monster can elevate his cultivation by 1 level inside it. If he recovers his early nascent soul cultivation, he can wield mid-nascent soul strength inside. If he recovers his mid-nascent soul cultivation, he can wield late nascent soul strength inside. We must pulverize this castle before the old monster returns. Cheonmin Jung-jin's words quickly gained trust and spread among those present. Numerous core formation cultivators took out their Dharma treasures from their storage devices and began to strike the black castle. However, a kind of barrier appeared over the Dharma treasure. The barrier blocked the attacks of the core formation cultivators and protected the castle from crumbling. It seems difficult to penetrate this barrier without a nascent soul level attack. Then, the core formation cultivators quickly convened for a meeting. It's an ancient formation. Even if formation masters rush in, dismantling this ancient barrier is a remote possibility. There's no other way than to break it by force. What should we do then? Numerous discussions are exchanged, and we, on the heaven-treading desert, discuss strategies to confront Yuan Li with serious expressions. And a few days later, from afar, beyond the horizon, a blood-red cloud rises. The faces of the more than 100 core formation cultivators darken. Early nascent, peak. As Yuan Li approaches within the red blood cloud, the core formation cultivators grit their teeth. Yuan Li's momentum is much stronger than when I had faced him, and his malice is beyond description. Haha, the bugs are quick with rumors. Have you come thinking you could handle me? Yuan Li, enveloped by the blood cloud, looked around the audience and spoke calmly. Even if it's you, do you think you can defeat so many core formation cultivators? Cheonmin Jung-jin shouts, stepping forward and glaring at Yuan Li. Yuan Li, amidst the blood cloud, looks down at us calmly and speaks. Just because there are many fireflies, does it compare to the light of the sun? The killing intent of many core formation cultivators are directed at Yuan Li, who has regained the strength of the peak early stage of nascent soul. Come at me, insects. Then, I am the first to step forward, drawing my formless sword. I have fully recovered my spiritual power and internal energy over the past few days. Definitely, this time for sure, I will kill this monster. Translator notes, well, prepare yourselves everyone. On that note, Sir Chong Ho turned out to be a title instead of a name. The author didn't give the Hanja Chinese characters so IDK what it means exactly, but could be blue tiger person if translated literally. I made the mistake in my misunderstood bias cause my friend's name is also Chong Ho. The guy's real name appears later in this arc, so you'll find out anyway, but it's gonna be a pain in the butt having to make all the changes. The author barely uses his real name anyway. Chapter 113. What you trampled on, the path you have tread. 1. 3 days before Yuan Li's arrival. I will kill him. Qianmen Zhengjin sighed softly as he looked at me. As the core formation cultivator who first discovered the Yuan Li massacre, Qianmen Zhengjin was given temporary command of this Yuan Li hunting group. He looked at me with a dark expression and said, I too want to tear that person to shreds. But we need a plan. Right now, although about 150 core formation cultivators have gathered, we've had little time to meet and discuss. To face that old monster, we need more time. Quote. I fully understand that some of the core formation cultivators, including you, are blinded by rage. However, now is the time to unite our strength. Being in cooperative will only hinder us. Quote. My goal is to kill him. Quote. If the plan devised by the formation master succeeds, we can be free from the terror caused by Yuan Li for a considerable amount of time. It would be even better if Yuan Li reaches the end of his lifespan during this period. Clench. I ground my teeth and tears of black curses streamed down. Are you saying, I can't kill him with my own hands? Qianmen Zhengjin sighed deeply. Why wouldn't I want to tear him into thousands of pieces? But if this plan fails, that devil will unhesitatingly unleash a massacre across the entire continent, just like we experienced. Right now, with not a single nascent soul cultivator among us, there will be no one to stop him. Quote. Please, for the peace of the entire continent, help us. Everyone gathered here must unite and participate in the plan. I looked at Qianmen Zhengjin. His intent was also tainted with pain. Please lend your strength. The head of the Gongmyo clan has even brought out the secret techniques of his clan. At his request, I clenched my teeth. Quote. Then, I will set a condition. What is it? I will cooperate with the plan and follow the lead of the clan head, but if an opportunity arises, I will do my utmost to kill Yuan Li. That's my condition. Understood. That's only natural. Not just you, practically everyone here intends to do the same. Qianmen Zhengjin nodded, confirmed my participation in the plan, and then went to persuade the elderly man in mourning clothes, who had been shouting loudly about killing Yuan Li. I watched Qianmen Zhengjin for a moment, then looked again at the plan devised by the numerous core formation cultivators and formation masters. Will it succeed? The chances of success are high. If their plan works, the world will be peaceful for hundreds of years. I felt peace for hundreds of years even in my previous life after the heaven-treading desert massacre. If it succeeds, does my revenge get pushed back? Is that the right thing to do? At this moment, can I endure not tearing his flesh apart? Quote. I'll do my best. At an opportune moment, without the need for such a complex plan by the core formation cultivators, I will kill Yuan Li. And so, 3 days later, Yuan Li began to appear beyond the horizon. I tightly grasped the formless sword, recalling the conversation I had with Qianmen Zhengjin a few days ago. I will kill him right here, leaving no reason for the plan. I exert all my strength from the start. Maintaining the stance of endless mountains beyond mountains, I directly connect the meridians made of energy to the formless sword. I am putting my life on the line. Quang, the formless sword, faster than anyone else's attack, shoots out and collides with Yuan Li. However, my formless sword is blocked by just the blood clouds surrounding Yuan Li. Chiok. Other core formation cultivators line up behind me, each casting their spells and Dharma treasures. Dharma treasures corresponding to water, fire, wind, and lightning pierce through Yuan Li's blood clouds. Die, you evil ghost. The old man in mourning clothes, who had lost his grandson to Yuan Li, spews a purple wheel-shaped Dharma treasure from his mouth. Through the openings in the blood clouds created by the other cultivators, the old man and other core formation cultivators launch their Dharma treasures. Quang. Bright explosions flash, and Yuan Li grins eerily. Screech. Beyond the explosions, a curtain of red light flares. Suddenly, he takes out 4 red pagodas and spreads a barrier around himself. It's become tougher. When I last fought with Yuan Li, who was then only at core formation, the barrier would have wavered after a few strikes, probably due to absorbing only core formation spiritual power. But now, even after the bombardment of Dharma treasures by me and other core formation cultivators, the barrier, imbued with nascent soul spiritual power, remains unshaken. Tisk, tisk, all this noise is quite bothersome. Yuan Li sneers and raises his hand. Block it. The old monster is using his power. Attack with all you've got. Almost 100 core formation cultivators simultaneously pour out their strongest Dharma treasures and spells. The heaven and earth tremble, and the nearby desert melts into glass, while sandstorms spread in all directions. Kuong. Due to the combined attacks of the core formation cultivators, a pit about 5 li (2.5 kilometers) in diameter and 1 li 500 meters deep formed. Whoosh. The landscape changes, and the earth rumbles. Goo. Beyond the explosion, blood clouds surge within. Insane. He's still not dead after that. Fear appears on the faces of the core formation cultivators. Yuan Li clicks his tongue, and the sound echoes in all directions. If I were just an ordinary early nascent soul, I might have been in danger. But alas, I am not just any ordinary early nascent soul, and moreover, you lot are lowly beings who couldn't even participate in the recent ascension, are you not? Sheeing. Inside the blood cloud, a bloody radiance begins to burst forth. Everyone, form up and prepare the formation. The old monster is about to use his spell. I shout in all directions, glaring at Yuan Li. For several days, thanks to the testimony of 2 survivors who barely survived Yuan Li in the northern grasslands, and including myself, the characteristics of Yuan Li's spells spread among all core formation cultivators. Thus, the core formation cultivators who heard our testimony knew somewhat about Yuan Li's spells and its power. Everyone, this way, Cheonman Zheng and Gongmyo Ryong shout loudly, standing side by side. Numerous core formation cultivators join them, and they quickly arrange a protective formation they had practiced for the past days. It's a simple protective formation that lower-level cultivators learn. However, when core formation cultivators deploy it, their combined spiritual power forms an immense defensive force. Flash. Yuan Li's spell explodes. Bloody radiance swirls in all directions, and the 4 corners of the world seem to be engulfed in blood. Crackle. Sizzle. The protective formation looks like it will break at any moment, but the formation constructed by over 100 core formation cultivators did not easily shatter. Shish. After a while, the blood light subsides. Beyond the diminishing blood radiance, we can see Yuan Li preparing a spell of similar magnitude again. Attack again. Don't give him any openings. Around 140 core formation cultivators divided into 5 groups, attacking Yuan Li from all sides in the sky. I swing my formless sword wildly, never taking my eyes off Yuan Li's face. Multicolored Dharma treasures and spells bombard the barrier around Yuan Li. And then, Yuan Li completes his spell again. Blood, tree, sea. Charararak. Yuan Li absorbs the blood clouds around him. Then, Yuan Li takes out a staff. The wooden staff with the red crystal skull embedded in it. Small branches, like baby fingers, densely grow on the staff and emit a deep red glow. Charararak. The small branches on the staff grow wildly in all directions. Boom. Evade. Don't touch it. No, don't go there. The branches engulf the surroundings, forming a bloody forest around Yuan Li in the desert. Some core formation cultivators fail to evade Yuan Li's attack and are trapped in his tree sea, quickly turning into shriveled husks as all their vital force qi and blood are drained. Yuan Li, at the center of the tree sea, looks to have recovered the energy he had just spent after devouring several core formation cultivators. Damn, such a monster. But you can't take us all down. Charak, Charak, Charak. 7 scrolls float around Yuan Li. Release. As he forms a spell, the demon souls painted in blood on the scrolls are released. However, unlike when they fought me before, the demon souls do not split to face different opponents but start to merge in the air. Kugugugugu. As one demon soul overlaps with another, their power increases dramatically. King. The demon souls, initially at the core formation level, gradually surpass the peak of core formation mid-stage, reaching late stage and even the level of core formation grand perfection. And then, King. When the 7 demon souls completely merge, they form a shape that is neither beast nor human, but a bizarre aberration. The power emanating from the bizarre soul reaches the level of the nascent soul. Ha. Although the energy felt from the demon soul indicated it is not a true nascent soul, and using more than 7 or 8 spells would exhaust its energy, the important thing is that another nascent soul level force has appeared right beside Yuan Li. Kia. But that isn't the end. When Yuan Li opens his storage device, ghostly wails resound and the blood water I had seen before surges out, transforming into two ghost kings wielding scythes. Then, the ghost kings enter the blood clouds surrounding Yuan Li, merging with it completely. Goo. Yuan Li's blood clouds conglomerate, forming the shapes of the two ghost kings. Insane, not even a normal nascent soul cultivator. The newly strengthened ghost kings, each slightly less powerful than an early nascent soul, combined to have enough strength to match the early nascent soul stage. So, will you continue to try? You bugs. Just then, don't give up, everyone. It's Gongmyo Ryong, the head of the Gongmyo clan. Despite her pale complexion, Gongmyo Ryong, a beautiful woman in a brown robe, takes out numerous Dharma treasures and shouts. We all knew we couldn't face a nascent soul cultivator anyway. Stick to the original plan and push him back. Yes, that's right, if we just follow the plan. Right, we can definitely handle this. Ho, the core formation cultivators, valuing their own lives, were cautious and did not directly confront Yuan Li. During the days leading up to Yuan Li's arrival, they had already prepared a strategy to face him, and they are all moving according to that plan. Of course, a few of us, including me, are trying to seize any opportunity to kill Yuan Li, regardless of the plan. I'll kill him. No need for the plan. Isn't it just a compromise offered by those afraid to confront Yuan Li directly? He can be killed, if only a chance appears. Kuang. Arg. Monster. Pushed back by the combined forces of the Bizarre Soul and the Ghost Kings, the core formation cultivators are being overwhelmed. Yet, even in the midst of this, they madly charge at Yuan Li, pushing him back. Die, you old monster. Alongside the old man wearing mourning clothes, I furiously attack Yuan Li. FSSHT. Our attacks gradually crack the protective pagoda barrier surrounding Yuan Li. Die, perish, vanish. The old man in mourning clothes weeps tears of blood as he pours out spells, and I too, shedding tears of black, mix curses with my formless sword, striking down the barrier. Including me and the old man, one or two other core formation cultivators who have lost relatives to Yuan Li and crazed with the intent to kill joined the attack on the barrier. And then, boom, with our combined attacks, the pagoda barrier finally breaks. Push forward, Cheonmin Zheng Jin roars from the back. Elders from the Cheonmin clan, seeing the breach in Yuan Li's barrier, charge towards him. Kuang. 3 elders from the Cheonmin clan cling to Yuan Li, pushing him to one spot. You insects, how dare you touch me? Schwack. Above Yuan Li, 3 translucent blood-red banners appear. Boom. However, my formless sword sweeps away the 5 elements blood curse banners. Along with the Cheonmin elders, some core formation cultivators charge at Yuan Li while others press him with Dharma treasures and spells. These bugs. Realizing the direction he's being pushed towards, Yuan Li looks at us and speaks. What scheme is this? Die, I'll rip your head off. The old man in mourning clothes and I hurl our formless sword and wheel-shaped Dharma treasure at Yuan Li. Then, Yuan Li opens his mouth. Schwaak. 17 bone dagger Dharma treasures sprung from his mouth. Churring. The daggers emit a strange sound, scattering blood-red energy in all directions. Wait, everyone, scatter. Cheonmin Yoongjin's voice echoes, and the elders of the Cheonmin clan hastily retreat. However, some core formation cultivators who are too slow to react fail to dodge Yuan Li's Dharma treasures. Schwaak. A blood-red cleaving force extends in all directions. Those who are close to Yuan Li are instantly torn to shreds, and their vital force qi and blood are devoured by the blood clouds surrounding him. For a moment, screams resound from within the blood clouds, but they quickly fade away. Yuan Li, who then absorbs the surrounding blood clouds, begins to regain his energy. It's tiresome dealing with such a large swarm of insects. Had I reached the mid-stage of nascent soul, none of you would have stood a chance and would have become mere fodder for me. He's recovering. Stop him. The first to rush towards Yuan Li are the old man in mourning clothes and I. Die. We shout in unison, pouring our attacks onto Yuan Li. Schwaak. The dagger Dharma treasures slash widely, targeting us. However, the old man in mourning robes uses a mysterious technique to block the slashes, and I cover my whole body with the formless sword to fend them off. Kuang. The old man and I charge at Yuan Li, pushing him back with almost body-slamming force. Cheonmin Yoongjin's voice grows louder from behind. We're almost there. Formation masters, get ready. Boom. In the space between the old man and me, Cheonmin Zhengjin crashes in with his heavy body, emanating a blue dull glow. You insects. And finally, the plan devised by the core formation cultivators to confront Yuan Li activates. Boom! Qianmen Zheng Jin, exerting his strength, strikes Yuan Li. Yuan Li's body is sucked into the inner barrier of the Black Castle in the eastern region. Indeed, the master is not hindered by its barriers. Qianmen Zheng Jin sneers at Yuan Li. I bite my lip, glaring at him, then gather my spiritual power and form a seal. Together with other formation masters, we channel our spiritual power into the barrier. I couldn't kill him. Crack! A fever radiates from the top of my head. But Qianmen Yungjin's words echo in my mind. Why wouldn't I want to tear him into thousands of pieces? But if this plan fails, that devil will unhesitatingly unleash a massacre across the entire continent, just like we experienced. Right now, with not a single nascent soul cultivator among us, there will be no one to stop him. Please, for the peace of the entire continent, help us. Everyone gathered here must unite and participate in the plan. Crack! I grit my teeth and, together with other formation masters, contribute my spiritual power to the barrier above the formation. No choice this time, but I will. Next time, I will pluck your head and take it away. To avenge their souls. Tears mixed with curses stream down as I, along with other formation masters, deploy the sealing formation using the barrier of the Black Castle. Seal. Kugugugugu. Above Yuan Li's location, multicolored rays of light swirl, turning into a prison that traps him. Kugugugugu. As the formation masters deploy the sealing formation, other cultivators move the dragon veins around with their unique techniques. Yang Heaven, the head of the Jin clan, Jin Yi Wun, and his elders channel the Yang attribute dragon veins into the formation. Yin Deity, the head of the Mokli clan, Mokli Wang Qian, and his elders bring in the Yin attribute dragon veins. Yin and Yang are attached to the formation, and the heads of each clan add the dragon veins corresponding to Dui, Li, Zhen, Shu and Kan, and Zhen completing the 8 trigrams. The head of the Gongmyo clan, Gongmyo Ryong, and 3 core formation lords from the eastern states form seals above the sealing formation, completing it. 8 trigrams spirit absorbing sealing formation. Seal. Flash. Kugugugugu. The dragon veins flowing through the heaven-treading desert connect to the formation, completing it. And then, Kuang Kuang. Inside the formation, blood-red flashes appear as the formation trembles violently. It's useless. The 8 trigram spirit-absorbing sealing formation, passed down in the Gongmyo clan, can imprison even a nascent soul cultivator if properly deployed. Moreover, the formation masters spent days researching the peculiar barrier in your castle, enhancing the formation with its characteristics. Unless you reach the heavenly being stage, no, even before the mid-stage of heavenly being, you absolutely cannot escape this formation. Boom! With Gongmyo Ryong's words, the echoing reverberations from within ceases. Then, Yuan Li's voice resounds. A splendid sealing formation. It seems I won't be able to easily escape. You old monster, I don't know how much life you have left, but you'll probably spend the rest of it trapped in there until you die of old age. Gongmyo Ryong's confident words are met with silence from inside the formation, which is soon followed by booming laughter. Ha ha ha, how amusing. Remember this, you will regret it when I break free from this seal. Gongmyo Ryong seems flustered by his confident words but chuckles and looks down at the formation. Old monster, you brag too much. Do you think this formation is so easy to break? Have you lived all these years in vain? Tisk tisk, I'm not so unwise, young one. Think about it. If you are core formation cultivators, read the celestial energy. Read the constellations and see what kind of place this is. What? Confused, Gongmyo Ryong looks down at the sealing formation. Kekaki, do you not understand? Here's a hint. Where did the last liberation palace appear? What? At his words, one of the lords of the eastern states looks up at the sky with wide eyes. Although it's broad daylight, core formation cultivators have enhanced abilities to read celestial energy, allowing them to interpret constellations even during the day. Wait, considering these coordinates, and the location of the last liberation palace, calculating the next position. Suddenly, fear flashes in the lord's eyes. It's here. The liberation palace will appear near this place. At these words, one of the chiefs from the northern grasslands widen their eyes in shock. The serving command palace. This place is where the next serving command palace will appear. What? The serving command palace will appear? Yes, it will. If you consider the pattern of the liberation palace and its previous appearance, it will appear near here. In 200 years, this seal will be useless. Hearing this, the core formation cultivators all stare at the sealing formation with fear-stricken eyes. Ha ha ha, foolish insects. Did you not consider serving Command Palace? I will be freed in 200 years. Until then, I will collect my blood spirits and use my stored resources, raising my cultivation to the late stage of nascent soul. Prepare yourselves to fight a late-stage nascent soul cultivator in 200 years. This is madness. How stupid. Why didn't we think of the Serving Command Palace? Who could have calculated such a thing? The last appearance of the Serving Command Palace was 200 years ago, and its appearance here was thousands of years ago. What fools we are. Now, because of the Liberation Palace, this devil will be released. The core formation cultivators from various factions raise their voices in anger, and I, along with 2 other hermit cultivators, look around stupidly. It seems we, who don't belong to any faction, lacked information. The old man in mourning clothes, who tried to kill Yuan Li with me, shouts. What are you saying? What is this Liberation Palace, and what's with the Serving Command Palace? I know roughly what the Serving Command Palace is, but why would the seal be broken if the Serving Command Palace appears near here? At the old man's question, Gongmyo Ryong bites her lip and explains. You probably didn't have the opportunity to access such information, being a loose cultivator. Serving Command Palace is also known as Liberation Palace. It symbolizes liberation, and when the Serving Command Palace appears, the heaven and earth energy in that area resonates with the symbol of liberation, releasing what is trapped. What? The Serving Command Palace has such power? I also pay close attention to her words. Is this the reason Yuan Li caused a massacre and appeared 200 years later? Gongmyo Ryong continues her explanation. Among high-level cultivators, there's a rumor that Serving Command Palace was originally created to liberate something sleeping somewhere in this world. Whether it's an immortal treasure, a mythological lineage, or the soul of an ancient being, no one knows. Whatever the purpose of Serving Command Palace might be, I don't care. What are you trying to say? It's not what I'm thinking, is it? Fellow cultivator, your thoughts are probably correct. Simply put, if there's a seal where the Serving Command Palace appears, that seal will resonate with the energy of liberation from the Serving Command Palace, completely breaking down or significantly weakening. That means, Cheonman Jung Jin, finishing the old man, speaks seriously. It means that this old monster will be released again when Serving Command Palace descends in 200 years. Color drains from the faces of numerous core formation cultivators. Amidst their fear, Cheonman Jung Jin shouts. Listen, everyone, all eyes turn to him. There's no need to tremble in fear. This might be a blessing in disguise. What do you mean, Cheonman clan head? When the old monster started his massacre, core formation cultivators from all over the continent urgently gathered to confront Yuan Li. Surely, not everyone was in their best condition, right? Yes, that's right. Indeed, I had to rush out of my alchemy session when I heard a nascent soul old monster is on a killing spree. I couldn't show my true strength. Cheonman Jung Jin continues. 200 years might not be a long time for us, but it's certainly not short either. Even if all the geniuses of the continent ascended with the heavenly being seniors, only those with the potential to reach nascent soul did so. There are still plenty of talents with the potential to reach core formation. Over the next 200 years, we can cultivate more talents, increase the number of core formation cultivators, and prepare thoroughly. Just as we trapped this old monster with just a few days of preparation, with 200 years of preparation, we can capture even a late-stage nascent soul old monster, or even a nascent soul at grand perfection. His words gradually brighten the expressions of the core formation cultivators scattered around. In 200 years, we will prepare for that time to capture this nascent soul old monster. Of course, if the old monster dies of old age within 200 years, all the better, but if not, we have talents to nurture and a future to look forward to. We can prepare even more. As he speaks, I finally begin to grasp the full extent of what I had been wondering about through my repeated returns. Remembering the massacre in the heaven-treading desert that occurred this time, let's prepare for the great war with the old monster in 200 years. 10th year of regression, due to a small butterfly effect caused by the actions of the Mad Lord. The heaven-treading desert massacre was brought forward by decades. As a result, the entire continent began to prepare for the war against Yuan Li, the Bloodwood practitioner, which would take place in 200 years. Translator notes. Extra donated chapter by Danghiskan, A Sexy Cow, and Muhammad Khalid. Thanks for the support. The original title in Korean has 2 different meanings, hence the reason for the 2 chapter titles. Chapter 114. What you trampled on, the path you have tread to. Discord. Pahaha, let's see. You try, I'll be waiting. You better make it fun for me 200 years from now. From within the barrier, Yuan Li mocked us and concealed his presence. First, we can't discuss our plans in front of the old monster. The leaders of each force should return to their domains and start preparing for the heaven-treading desert massacre and the Great War 200 years later. Qianmen Zhengjin spoke, and one of the lords of the eastern states wrapped in white bandages shouts at us. And cultivators at the core formation stage from all over the continent should gather again next time to prepare for the meeting. Let's decide when to meet again. Following his words, the core formation cultivators, who have been murmuring for a while, began to gather opinions. Among them were core formation cultivators, including myself, who have lost relatives. The old man in mourning clothes stood next to Yuan Li's castle with an empty expression. After a while, the time and place for the core formation conference was set. 10 years from now, the location will be the northern grasslands, easily accessible to cultivators from the divided states of the east and the countries of Shanxi, Yangguo, and Biokra in the west. It's the village of the first tribe in the grasslands massacred by Yuan Li. Invitations for the meeting were given to the heads of each clan, and 3 of his core formation loose cultivators without a faction received invitations as well. Thus, the core formation cultivators, having received the time, place, and invitations, began to return to their original domains using the flying escape technique. 2 tribal chiefs from the northern grasslands who lost relatives in the heaven-treading desert massacre. Qianmen Zhengjin, who lost Qianmen Ryong. The 3 loose cultivators and me. Even after all the core formation cultivators left, we remain glaring at the Black Castle. 2 of the hermits, after a while, suppress their anger and leave in different directions, but the old man in mourning clothes and I, along with Qianmen Zhengjin, stay until the sun sets. Staring intently at the Black Castle, we finally turn our heads when the moon reaches its zenith. I will go now. I need to collect the remains of Ryong. ... I'll join you. As soon as the word, remains, was mentioned, I suddenly came to my senses and looked towards Biokra. Qianmen Zhengjin says to the old man in mourning clothes. Sir Wulryong, do you not have remains to collect as well? It's meaningless to keep glaring at the old monster, let's retreat and plan for the future. ... It doesn't matter. The old man, Wulryong, grits his teeth and says. My great-grandson and his wife weren't killed in this massacre. They were murdered about 10 years ago, and I've been wandering the continent since then, unable to find the beast. Seeing the devilish arts left by the old monster in this massacre, I'm sure he was the one who killed my great-grandchildren. I already collected their remains 10 years ago, so don't worry about me and go. ... Understood. I read the intent emanating from him and ask. You must have cherished your descendants greatly. Suddenly, he turns to look at me. He's about to say something, but after seeing my empty eyes, he's startled and asks back. ... Who did you lose? My lover, my teacher, my friends. And my neighbors. ... I see. My great-grandson, he was the one I cherished the most. I might not know how you feel, and you might not know how I feel, but perhaps we are feeling something similar. Drip, drip, tears mixed with blood falls from his eyes as he grits his teeth. It might take hundreds of years, but I want to tear him apart and pickle his flesh. ... He glares at Yuan Li's trapped castle again and speaks. Go ahead and collect the remains of those who were lost this time. I will leave tomorrow. I'll suppress this anger and look forward to the day we kill him together. Qianmen Zhengjin and I look at him for a moment. Without a word, we leave him behind and head towards Biokra. It didn't take long to reach Cheonsak City again. Whoosh! Cheonsak City, having endured the desert sandstorm, is a mess. ... Blood is splattered everywhere inside the city, and the walls are riddled with holes. The city gates have collapsed, and only the walls, barely holding their shape, indicate that this place was once a city. Inside, the scene was still tragic. The bones of numerous mortals and cultivators lay scattered everywhere. Qianmen Zhengjin and I go to where their bodies lay. Kim Young-hoon, neatly divided into 8 parts. Buck Jong-ho, with his neck missing and a hole in his dantian. Qianmen Ryong, with bloodwood sprouting all over his body. Buck Hyunghwa, missing her lower body. Their remains, exposed to the dry air of the desert for several days, had partially decayed and then dried out, preserved in that state. Qianmen Zhengjin silently approaches Qianmen Ryong's remains and begins to carefully remove the bloodwood that had sprouted from inside his body. I first approach Kim Young-hoon and gather his 8 separated remains. His inner core is gone. As I reassembled his body, I saw that Kim Young-hoon's dantian is also pierced, and his inner core missing. I then wander around looking for Buk Jong-ho's head and Buk Hyung-hwa's lower body. I found a piece of flesh that looks to be Buk Jong-ho's neck, but Buk Hyung-hwa's lower body is nowhere to be found. Reluctantly, I took only Buk Jong-ho's neck and placed it back on his body. I observed their expressions. Kim Young-hoon's face bore a look of regret. But somehow, Buk Jong-ho, Buk Hyung-hwa, and Cheongmin Ryong died with peaceful expressions, as if they completed what they had to do. Quote. I should go now. Cheongmin Jung-jin, having removed all the bloodwoods from Cheongmin Ryong's remains and gathered his body, speaks to me while holding him. If you wish to attend Ryong's funeral, come to our main house in a month. I know you were Ryong's friend, so I'll welcome you. Quote. Understood. Cheongmin Jung-jin, with a pained expression, holds Cheongmin Ryong's remains and flies away with a dull glow. I look around. Skeletons and bodies scattered in every direction. Dried blood stains. And the bodies of those who had died, emaciated and twisted. Lastly, the body of Buk Hyung-hwa, whose lower half is completely gone and couldn't be found. Shaking, trembling, I clench my teeth and my hands tremble. I extend my consciousness around, searching for any souls that might have remained in this place. Everyone here had suffered a wrongful death, so I wondered if any had become vengeful spirits. But there is not a single soul left, not even amongst the powerful cultivators, let alone the mortals. There had to be resentment, but perhaps. Gazing at the blazing sun in the sky, I wonder if the intense yang energy of Cheonsak City, situated right next to the desert, had caused any remaining souls to ascend forcibly under the sunlight. For a long time, I stand dumbfoundedly in front of Buk Hyung-hwa's body. Reality still feels somewhat unreal. I wish someone would tell me this is all just a terrible nightmare. Standing there stupidly, I slowly look at Buk Hyung-hwa's face. Her face, dried up and twisted in death, is reflected in my eyes. And then, finally, reality strikes. This is reality. I am standing in this horrific hell. I collapse to my knees, crawling towards her half-remaining body. Trembling, slowly, very slowly, I reach out to her body, carefully lifting her so as to not damage her any further, and embrace her. Her body is light, lighter than a feather, having lost her lower body and dried out over several days. Tightly, I hug her remaining body, supporting the back of her head with one hand, and pressing my forehead against hers. Our foreheads touch. Even a third-rate romance novel wouldn't be this absurd. We couldn't even confess our love for each other. Everything shattered right before that confession, like a contrived plot twist written by a third-rate author for forced melodrama. Everything felt forced and contrived. Fate, what are you saying to me? Why do you keep taking things away from me? Why me? Why? Q. I move away from Buk Hyung-hwa's body and pound my chest. Cog Kurg. Bang, bang. As I pound my chest, curses in the form of black scripts burst forth from my mouth. Tick, tock, hiss. I wonder how many there are. I count the curses rising around me, approximately 3,000, far surpassing the level of the founder who dealt with 108. Every martial art carries the intent of its creator, and understanding this intent is to reach the pinnacle of that martial art. This intent is not limited to martial arts but also exists in cultivation methods. I finally realize the intent behind the Yin Soul Ghost incantation, the realization imprinted by its creator. Human fate is suffering. Human life is a curse. This world is made of pain. I grit my teeth. A waterfall of emotions pour out. First comes anger and pain. Then despair and sorrow, followed by guilt and shame. And self-loathing for myself. I'm sorry, kids. I think of my disciples trapped because of my stubbornness, foolishness, and weakness. The anger instilled in them was partly their own, but also amplified by the cursed souls of their relatives planted by the Jin clan. That's why I wanted to stop them. Back then, I was powerless, foolish, and couldn't do anything. That stupid stubbornness was all I could do. I didn't want to see my disciples die miserably. But now, I realize how stupid and stubborn my actions were. I'm sorry. Perhaps, for some people, there are times when they must move for revenge, even if it means a miserable death. I stopped you, and yet, now I'm about to make the same choice as you. I feel pathetic. I always have been. Every time I died, every time the cycle reversed, I was always pathetic and in pain. It isn't just about losing a loved one. Now, because of Buk Hyung-hwa's death, I face all the pain and wounds I had forgotten, sealed by my life up until now. Holding her body as carefully as a glass craft, I lament. I vow. The blood around me has dried and turned black. The smell of blood is faint, dispersed by the sandstorm. But around me, my domain of consciousness is dyed in blood red. It seems like the scent of blood faintly reaches my nose. I'll kill him, extract his golden core, crush it, pull out his nascent soul, tear it apart. Surrounded by black curses and red intent, I tightly embrace Buk Hyunghwa's body, clad in white. I'll tear off his limbs, scatter them in the 4 directions. I feel like there is a hole in my chest. A hole filled with pain to the point of numbness. I'll rip apart the rest of his body, feed it to the dogs. The evening glow falls over Cheonsak City. The area around Cheonsak City is submerged in a red sunset, turning everything crimson. Our shadows stretch long towards the heaven-treading desert. I'll leave only the beast's head, to offer it your. I look at her, then around. Buk Jong-ho, Kim Young-hoon, Cheonmin Ryong, who isn't here. And all the neighbors slaughtered in Cheonsak City. The old woman from the paper store, the owner of the sapling store, the guards of Cheonsak City, lovers, children, women, young men. And then, to those trampled by him, I'll burn incense in front of their spirits. I shout to someone, or perhaps to myself, swearing loudly towards the heavens. I vow, I will do this. Definitely, definitely. Tears of red and black mix and flow down as I vow revenge towards the sky. I stagger to my feet and slowly begin to collect the remains of others, burying them in Cheonsak City. Over several days, Cheonsak City became a giant cemetery. Following Buk Hyunghwa's will, I buried Buk Jong-ho next to his wife Yeon's grave and buried Buk Hyunghwa's upper body under her workshop. Then, I entered Buk Hyunghwa's workshop and started making glass crafts, despite my mediocre refining skills. I didn't make starfish like dolls or flowers. I made what I am best at. What I am most confident in making. Glass crafts shaped like swords. I melted the desert sand and made glass flying swords, one by one. I planted these glass swords as burial items in front of the graves of the people of Cheonsak City. In Biokra, it's a funeral tradition to place glass burial items for the deceased. Cheonsak City has thousands of glass swords planted in graves, and I finally place a glass saber in front of Kim Young-hoon's grave, creating a saber tomb. Thud. Tomorrow is Cheonmin Ryong's funeral at the Cheonmin clan. Before heading to the funeral, I sit in front of Buk Hyunghwa's grave. I haven't yet offered a glass craft to her. Even though thousands of glass swords are already behind me. Perhaps I still don't want to admit that she is dead. Yes, later, I'll make the burial gift for her after offering Yuan Li's head to the souls of the people and place it on her grave. I hold the jade norige she left for me to my chest and close my eyes. Tick, crack. Black tears run down my face. After a moment of silence in front of her grave, I take out the wooden box she left behind. Inside the box is not a Dharma treasure but a blueprint for creating one. I read through the blueprint. Buk Hyunghwa had created a blueprint for a Dharma treasure that met all the conditions I had mentioned. The name of the Dharma treasure is colorless glass sword. The material is common sand from the desert. The circuit is simple. It's a glass flying sword, the type she most often created with me. Chapter 115. What you trampled on, the path you have tread. 3. Discord. I spend a long time looking at the blueprint of the colorless glass sword, admiring the artwork she created. Even I, not well versed in magic artifacts, am awestruck by its artistic structure. It's a great Dharma treasure capable of enhancing the power of the formless sword to 100%, no, 120% of its potential. This is the blueprint of the Dharma treasure she left behind. As I read the blueprint, tears streamed down my cheeks uncontrollably. I sit by the grave for a long time, crying, laughing, and mourning. Then, as night falls and before the next day arrives, I set out for the Cheonmin clan to attend Cheonmin Ryong's funeral. Cheonmin Ryong's funeral is held in a grand manner. He was the pride of the Cheonmin clan, known as a prominent figure of the Chi building stage. Being the nephew of the clan head Cheonmin Jung-jin, his funeral is conducted on a large scale under the clan head's direction. Numerous elders and senior members of the Cheonmin clan, along with upper-level cultivators, gathered solemnly to witness Cheonmin Ryong's entombment. I watch the scene from behind Cheonmin Jung-jin. No tears flow anymore. Suppressing the Yin Soul Ghost incantation to prevent curses from erupting during the funeral is all I can do. Creak. His coffin is sealed, and Cheonmin Ryong is laid to rest in the clan's ancestral burial ground. For a while, Cheonmin Jung-jin recites a eulogy, and I deeply engrave his death in my heart, determined to avenge him against Yuan Li someday. Cheonmin Ryong's funeral continued for several more weeks. After it ended, Cheonmin Jung-jin gathered the clan's elder council and other members to discuss Cheonmin Ryong's death, the heaven-treading desert massacre, and the Bloodwood practitioner Yuan Li. As a friend of Cheonmin Ryong and a core formation level powerhouse, I was able to attend the meeting. Could it be for another reason? I ponder, watching Cheonmin Jung-jin unfold the formation Cheonmin Ryong created in front of the elders. This has been a secret known only to the clan's elder council so far, but given that serving command palace will appear near Yuan Li's eastern vicinity in 200 years, it's time to speak up. Cheonmin Jung-jin begins. First, most of the valuable items in serving command palace have been taken by the heavenly being seniors. However, as the council knows, using Ryong's formation, it's possible to harvest the remaining longevity fruits inside. Thus, I propose a plan to enter the serving command palace before 200 years pass to harvest these fruits. Clearly, as the clan head, he has to consider everyone's interests. He looks at me cautiously and asks, Cultivator CEO, although Ryong's death is regrettable, we cannot let the formation you both created go to waste. Could you use the Nether crossing ship to return to serving command palace? He asks cautiously, considering my feelings. However, as soon as I heard, serving command palace, an idea struck me. Serving command palace. Serving command palace, serving command palace, serving command palace. As I repeat, serving command palace, like a madman, the core formation elders and Cheonmin Jung-jin look at me in shock. I can use serving command palace to catch Yuan Li. Yuan Li will enter serving command palace. He aims to destroy all its floors and seek the hidden serving command seal. Does the clan head remember? Serving command palace. What happens when you stimulate its golden order? Though my words are disjointed, Cheonmin Jung-jin understands and his eyes light up. Exclamation mark. Are you suggesting bringing Yuan Li down to core formation level? That's right, I reply, my eyes bloodshot. I can catch Yuan Li. I can tear him apart and have a way to take revenge. But the method you're suggesting ultimately involves activating the serving command palace's formation, sealing the cultivation of everyone inside. It's not a long-term solution, and the cultivation restraint applies to everyone. If the old monster drops to the core formation stage, other core formation cultivators will drop to chi building. In the end, nothing changes. I grin. I can catch him. What? The method I've learned allows me to wield power even under serving command palace's restraint. That's how I endured the spatial pressure and escaped through the teleportation array like the clan head and Cheonmin Ryong. After activating serving command palace's golden order and bringing down Yuan Li to the core formation stage, I'm confident I can kill him. At my words, Cheonmin Jung-jin is startled, and the core formation elders murmur among themselves. The chi-building elders of the Cheonmin clan, unaware of our conversation, wear puzzled expressions. Can you guarantee that, if you provide me with spirit stones, I can speak with Song-jin and use the Nether crossing ship to return to serving command palace and prove it? I remember the circuit Buk Hyung-hwa had touched and how she did it, so I am certain I can do it as well. Cheonmin Jung-jin, with a solemn face, looks around the audience. I can testify to Cultivator CEO's core formation capabilities. Cheonmin Jung-jin looks at me. If what you say is true, Cultivator CEO's role will be crucial. I am aware. If proof is needed, just give me spirit stones. I'll prove it anytime. Cheonmin Jung-jin explains the situation to the elders and senior members, and after some discussion, we eventually decide to visit serving command palace again. Kugugugugu. Numerous flying escape techniques lit up the sky. This matter involved not only longevity fruits but also the possibility of killing Yuan Li, a nascent soul cultivator. Other than Cheonmin Jung-jin, myself, and 4 core formation elders, 2 core formation elders remained to guard the clan. Cheonmin Jung-jin carried me on a flying artifact, matching the speed of the other elders' flying escape techniques as we headed towards the Black Wind Sea. Although the acceleration of the formless sword is fast and boasts greater speed in short distances than flying escape techniques, there's a significant difference in long-distance travel between the long-distance suited flying escape technique and the combat-designed formless sword. Therefore, even as a core formation level force, it's more stable for me to travel long distances in this manner on a core formation cultivator's flying artifact. First, once we enter Serving Command Palace, we'll lay down Ryong's formation to fully grow and harvest the longevity fruits over 5 years. Then, after 5 years, we'll inform the other core formation cultivators of your plan and open Serving Command Palace. Is that alright? I nod. If it means killing Yuan Li, anything is fine. Alright then, although the Cheongmin clan will monopolize the longevity fruits, it doesn't matter. After all, my initial purpose for obtaining the fruits, Kim Young-hoon, is dead, torn into 8 segments. Shoo shoo shoo. The core formation elders of the Cheongmin clan and I enter the barriers in the Black Wind Sea, where the Nether Crossing ship is located. Qua. As we penetrate the last barrier, the Nether Crossing ship appears, and sensing our approach, Song Jin comes up on the ship, accompanied by. It's been a while, Senior Seo. Seo Ran, dressed in a black robe, stands next to Song Jin. Previously half human, half demon with scales across his skin, he now appears almost entirely human, save for the dragon horns on his forehead and a dragon tail at his back, likely related to the method taught by Song Jin. Around him swirls a sinister devilish aura. He's reached the pinnacle of Qi building. Furthermore, it seems he is on the cusp of reaching core formation. I nod in greeting, unable to speak a cheerful word in my current state. Song Jin, noticing my gaze, looks surprised and glances around at us. 5 core formation cultivators and me, a core formation level being, all with grave expressions. I do feel a bit sorry for leaving you all behind in Serving Command Palace last time. Silence. Cheongmin Jung Jin breaks the silence. We're not here to discuss that matter, senior. It's just that the current situation in the continent is chaotic, hence the serious demeanor. We hope there's no misunderstanding. In that case. Song Jin coughs awkwardly and glances at me before speaking to Cheongmin. Jung Jin, by the way, what's happening in the continent? I've read the stars, and there's a major upheaval in the celestial energy. Although I don't know the details, I can tell something significant is occurring. At that, I speak up. The Bloodwood practitioner Yuan Li. That old monster regained his nascent soul cultivation and committed a tremendous massacre near the heaven-treading desert. All my dear ones died in that massacre. What? Song Jin looks at me in shock. Bloodwood practitioner. That guy reached nascent soul. He was deemed a dying core formation cultivator when the various sects and tribes assessed his potential and was thus left alone. He was deceiving everyone. He had already reached the nascent soul stage but then divided his soul into something called a blood soul, scattering it near the heaven-treading desert. I continue with a listless look in my eyes. In the massacre orchestrated by him in the heaven-treading desert, cultivators at the core formation stage from across the continent came forward to seal him. However, 200 years later, the appearance of Serving Command Palace at the site of his seal has prompted all factions to prepare for a grand war with the nascent soul cultivator. Hearing my words, Song Jin looks at Seo Ran. Damn, of all things, reaching the nascent soul stage, and a danger to my disciple. It's driving me mad. I look at Song Jin and Seo Ran with listless eyes and ask, my intent turning red again. Why is he a danger to Taoist Seo? At the anger in my voice, not only Song Jin but also the elders of the Cheongmin clan flinch. Pointing at Seo Ran, Song Jin says, it's because of the blood demon suppressing sea light, a devilish art he has mastered. It specializes in the water attribute, particularly drawing the true blood of sea demon beasts to maximize his physical regeneration. He can also refine and control the souls of demon beasts using this art. The most compatible with his blood demon suppressing sea light are the sea dragon tribe. Worry fills his eyes as he looks at Seo Ran. It's a tale known only to a few, but Yuan Li once hunted a core formation sea dragon from the sea dragon tribe. Sea dragon king Seo Whale chased him for 3 days and nights, admonishing him, and mercifully forgave Yuan Li after retrieving the sea dragon's soul and corpse. Seo Whale is compassionate, but too soft. If it were Black Ghost Valley, anyone who harmed our disciples would have had their soul extracted and refined into a ghost. Retrieving the soul and corpse of the sea dragon. I recall the soul of a blood dragon among the 7 souls Yuan Li had controlled, which resembled a sea dragon. If Seo Whale retrieved it, why does Yuan Li still have the soul? Anyway, with Seo Whale gone, Yuan Li won't need to worry about the sea dragon king's eyes. There's a high chance he will target Seo Ran to cultivate blood demon suppressing sea light. Seo Ran's half-dragon blood is from royal lineage. Yuan Li, knowing the value of that blood, will be desperate to get it. Song Jin crosses his arms, looking worried. Cheongmin Jun Jin then speaks. Indeed, given Yuan Li nature to drench the entire continent in blood, core formation cultivators have united to stop his return in 200 years. We've come to seek your guidance in devising a plan against him. Qianmen Zhengjin then explained the plan using Serving Command Palace against Yuan Li. So, the plan is to draw him into Serving Command Palace and kill him. Yes, that's right, it's risky. Song Jin expresses his concern. You might not know, but Serving Command Palace, also known as Liberation Palace, is not the main artifact. Yes. Confusion appears on the faces of Qianmen Zhengjin and the elders. What does that mean? Seems you don't know. The Serving Command Palace, crafted by the Heavenly Artisan, is originally a small cylindrical seal the size of a palm. The current Serving Command Palace is an enlarged palace built in the shape of that seal. Song Jin continues his explanation. The Serving Command Seal, also known as the Liberation Seal, was made before the appearance of the Ascension Gate. It bestows blessings for ascension, drawing the Blessed One's fate towards the upper realms, closing the distance. However, as a side effect of imposing the attraction of fate, the bearer of the Serving Command Seal will receive heavenly fate. Heavenly fate, you say? Yes. Core formation cultivators might not fully grasp the concept of fate, but as someone who has reached heavenly being, I am aware of the power of heavenly fate and must warn you. Luring him into Serving Command Palace to fight means there's a chance he might obtain the Serving Command Seal and gain the protection of heavenly fate. If that happens, unless there's a being with even stronger fate, no one can withstand the heavenly fate brought by the Serving Command Seal. Fate, heavenly fate. Qianmen Zhengjin looks puzzled but nods in understanding. Though Song Jin had fallen to the core formation stage, he is evidently a remnant soul who reached heavenly being, and his experience and authority are beyond Qianmen Zhengjin's. Hold on, but senior. That Serving Command Seal, we weren't aware of it. What are the chances he knows about it? As a Qianmen clan elder asks Song Jin, they realize the contradiction in their question. Just because they were unaware, it didn't necessarily mean the old monster who has lived longer than them wouldn't know. Indeed, Yuan Li is aware of the existence of the Serving Command Seal. Yuan Li knows about the Serving Command Seal. It's one of the pieces of information I obtained while surviving against him. I can't reveal my return, so I spoke vaguely, but it's enough to darken the others' expressions. However, I look at them and say, so, are you planning to cancel the plan? If the issue is him getting the Serving Command Seal, just kill him before he can obtain it. I look around with a listless expression and continue. It seems everyone is skeptical since I haven't proven my strength under the restraint. Anyway, let's go to the Serving Command Palace and I'll prove it first. Qianmen Zhengjin nods in agreement. Either way, regardless of Cultivator CEO's situation, we need to harvest the fruits, so let's proceed. Kung, a Qianmen clan elder places spirit stones in front of Song Jin. We ask for your help, senior. Please use the Nether crossing ship to go to Serving Command Palace. We need to head there for our own reasons. Well, with these spirit stones. After inspecting the spirit stones, Song Jin activates the Nether crossing ship again. Kugugugugu. The Nether crossing ship rises. I look around with a listless expression and approach CEO Ran. Taoist CEO. Yes, Senior CEO. Last time, you promised to fulfill one of my requests, right? That's right. I take out the space-breaking bead from my belongings. I have a request for Taoist CEO. That is, teach me how to activate this. Chapter 116. What you trampled on, the path you have tread for. This is. CEO Ran takes the space-breaking bead from me. After a moment, his pupils quiver. Where did you get this? Well, I hesitate for a moment and then tell him honestly. The Sea Dragon King instructed me to pass this Dharma treasure to Taoist CEO. I was overtaken by greed and kept it for myself. I didn't hand over the space-breaking Dharma treasure to CEO Ran. But the space-breaking bead was useless even when filled with spiritual power, apparently requiring some special condition to activate. I am sorry about that. However, wait, CEO Ran, holding the Dharma treasure, stiffens and says, please wait a moment. He puts the space-breaking bead into his sleeve and flies to the helm of the Nether crossing ship to speak with Song Jin. They seemed to be having a conversation, and I could sense complex and nuanced intents flowing from the helm. After a while, the Nether crossing ship arrived at Serving Command Palace in the void space. CEO Ran continued talking with Song Jin, still holding the space-breaking bead. I glance at them briefly and decide to discuss it again after returning from Serving Command Palace. Then I head into Serving Command Palace with the core formation cultivators of the Qianmen clan. Before setting up the formation, everyone please wait. I signal to Cheonmin Jung-jin and the elders, then head to the core of Serving Command Palace and fiddle with the part Buk Hyung-hwa had manipulated, using the exact same method she did. Kugugugu. Pressure builds up throughout Serving Command Palace, and our spiritual power is sealed by one level. Kugugugugu. My cultivation level dropped by one big stage. To others, I appear like a chi refining cultivator. The other core formation cultivators dropped to the chi building stage. Now, show us. Can you, in this state, still exert the power of a core formation cultivator? An elder of the Cheonmin clan asks me. I nod, grasp the formless sword, and swing it towards one of the internal structures of Serving Command Palace. The structure, already half destroyed when I came with Buk Hyung-hwa, crumbles to dust with a single stroke of my sword. Do you believe me a little now? At my words, the elders of the Cheonmin clan look at me in stunned silence, then nod. After a while, the Golden Order of Serving Command Palace deactivates, and I say to them. The restraint lasts for about an hour. Even if we try to extend it by tampering with Serving Command Palace's circuitry, the maximum would be about half a day. The elders of the Cheonmin clan ponder over my words. Anyway, my capabilities should now be confirmed. Cheonmin Jung-jin and the elders all nod in agreement. Understood. When we capture Yuan Li, we'll plan based on your abilities. About that. One of the elders speak to Cheonmin Jung-jin. Cheonmin Jung-jin, receiving his gaze, asks me. Then, could Cultivator Seo please set up the formation now? Certainly. It's a formation I'll have to set up in my next life anyway. Setting it up in advance wouldn't be bad. I take the formation artifacts created by Buk Hyung-hwa and install it throughout the first floor of Serving Command Palace. Then, after a while, I approach the longevity tree in the central arboretum of Serving Command Palace, where the longevity fruits are about to ripen. I stand there, gazing at the blossoms on the longevity tree, lost in thought. The one who should have eaten these fruits is gone. But I've only just found a way to harvest them. What meaning is there in this life now devoid of a reason to live? With a listless gaze, I activate the formation indifferently. Kugugugugu. Spiritual energy from all over. Serving Command Palace converges here. It's incomparable to the formation spread through the weak dragon veins near the heaven-treading desert and Cheon Sak City. A massive wave of spiritual energy surges towards this place, filling the surroundings. Cheonmin Jung-jin and elders, beholding this majestic scene, stand with their mouths agape in awe. However, I just stare blankly into space with a listless expression. Kugugugu. The formation has been activated. In 5 years, the formation will pour the accumulated wood element spiritual energy of this area into the longevity tree, rapidly accelerating the growth of the fruits. That's great. Thank you. I listen to the thanks of the Cheonmin clan elders, standing there blankly. After adjusting the formation a bit, we left Serving Command Palace. Thank you, Cultivator Seo. We'll return in 5 years to harvest the longevity fruits. After making plans for 5 years later, I parted ways with Cheonmin Jung-jin and elders. As the Cheonmin clan disappeared, Song-jin and Seo Ran approached me. At Song-jin's will, the Nether Crossing ship traversed space and settled above the distant ocean. What's the matter? Seo Ran, who has been emitting complex intent, asks me with a trembling voice. This Dharma treasure, did the Dragon King really give it to you? Yes, and he really asked you to pass it on to me. I nod. Seo Ran stiffens. Can you prove its authenticity with a ghost path oath here, in front of the Nether Crossing ship? His face turned pale as he spoke. It's said that if an oath or statement made in front of the Nether Crossing ship is broken, the soul would be sucked into it after death. I calmly reply, I swear in front of the Nether Crossing ship. It's true that Seo Wayol asked me to pass the space-breaking bead to Taoist Seo. Ha, ha ha, Seo Ran, with a stunned expression, laughs and holds his head. Watching him, Song-jin speaks with a bitter voice. I didn't know the Sea Dragon King had such heartlessness. Holding the space-breaking bead, Song-jin continues. According to our investigation, this Dharma treasure can only be activated by someone with the true origin blood of the Sea Dragon tribe, and only by someone designated by them. If not of the true origin blood, one cannot even interfere with the Dharma treasure, and if not designated by a Sea Dragon of true origin blood, it cannot be activated. And, he glances at the space-breaking bead and continues. The designated person for this bead is Seo Ran himself. Master, I, your unworthy disciple. Go rest inside. Thank you. Seo Ran, with a pained expression and holding his head, said he needed some time alone and went inside the nether crossing ship. Song Jin sighs and asks, "Do you know what this Dharma treasure is?" "I do," I tell the truth, and Song Jin looks at me. His eyes blaze with ghostly fire. "Knowing it's a self-destructive Dharma treasure, you accepted Co Whale's request. That's why I didn't deliver it until now. I asked for the method of using this Dharma treasure for my own purposes." I didn't expect him to realize so quickly. In my previous life, Co Ran realized the purpose of the Spock breaking bead only when it was time to activate it. I never thought he would realize it immediately in this life. It seems Song Jin has taught him well. I look at Song Jin. After locking eyes with me for a moment, he lets out a faint sigh. "Thank you for not passing that Dharma treasure to my disciple. If it had been activated, the nether crossing ship would have crumbled, and I wouldn't have been able to teach my disciple and pass down the legacy of the Azure Ghost Valley." Song Jin says with a bitter tone, looking at the space-breaking bead. "It's nothing. By the way, I still have one more favor you owe me." "Ah, that's right. Indeed." I speak to Song Jin. "I'll use my last favor. Please." Drip, drip. Just thinking about it, curses begin to erupt around me. "Help me." Startled, Song Jin flinches and stares directly at me. "Help me take revenge." He seems to ponder. "For that, ask Co Ran. Perhaps my disciple can be of more help to you." "What do you mean?" Song Jin continues. "I recently sent my disciple deep into the sea to gather yin energy. But actually, I had another task for him." "Oh." He points southwards over the nether crossing ship, towards the Black Wind Sea. At the far southern end of the sea, near World's End, lies the homeland of the Sea Dragon tribe, the Sea Dragon Palace where the Sea Dragon King resided. For some reason, Co Whale left Co Ran here and covered the Sea Dragon Palace with a massive seal before leaving, preventing Co Ran from entering to cultivate. I listen silently to Song Jin's explanation. According to Co Ran, if the nether crossing ship is destroyed and the souls of the Sea Dragon tribe previously swallowed by the ship are freed, those souls will teach Co Ran how to break the seal. But now that he is my disciple, I can't allow him to shatter the nether crossing ship and do such a thing. I instructed Co Ran to reach the nascent soul stage and directly interact with the nether crossing ship to extract the souls. A nascent soul cultivator can retrieve the souls devoured by the ship. And to do that, entering the Sea Dragon Palace, filled with the spiritual elixir of the Sea Dragon tribe, is the first step. I taught him a corroding great spell and asked him to break through Co Whale's seal. Song Jin chuckles. Whether he rescues the souls of the Sea Dragon tribe first and then enters the Sea Dragon Palace to enhance his skills, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. Co Ran agreed to do so. I also taught him the famous formations of the Azure Ghost Valley to help him break the seal. Now, he's almost breached the corner of the seal, and it seems only a strong final push is needed to break in. "So, you want me to help Co Ran break the seal?" "Yes, the weird method you've mastered boasts immense offensive power, surely enough to break the seal. He's been gathering energy for a powerful strike, but if you help, that may not be necessary. It seems he wants to use my strength for Co Ran's benefit. But that doesn't matter to me. What's important right now is, by helping Co Ran break the seal, does that create a way to confront Yuan Li?" "Yuan Li. Finding the best way to kill him is my goal." Song Jin nods. Even if Co Whale's abilities are great, it's impossible for him to ascend with all the treasures accumulated over the long history of the Sea Dragon tribe without something equivalent to the nether crossing ship. Surely, a considerable amount of treasures must remain inside the Sea Dragon Palace. Moreover, most of the treasures of the Sea Dragon tribe are items that can gain an advantage over Yuan Li's two main devilish arts. There's a high probability that objects antagonistic to him are piled up inside. Hearing this, my eyes widened. "I will help Taoist Co. It doesn't matter. If it can give me even a slight advantage over him, I will do anything." At those words, Song Jin nods in satisfaction and enters the nether crossing ship. Shortly after, Co Ran comes out with a gloomy face. "I heard you will help me, senior." "That's right. I am a bit shocked, but I understand. Thank you." Co Ran turns to Song Jin. "Master, please head to the southern end." "Haha, understood." Hence, we steer the nether crossing ship towards the Sea Dragon Palace, the former base of the Sea Dragon tribe, located at the world's end in the south. Jang. As expected, this sea area doesn't suit the nether crossing ship. The southern sea is calm, the sky clear, and the sun blazing intensely. The heaven and earth spiritual energy is stable, and it seems unlikely for storms to occur. Compared to the Black Wind Sea, where clouds gather frequently, the Southern Sea looks very peaceful. Most of all, the spiritual energy floating between heaven and earth is incredibly clean and warm. It even feels somewhat sacred. Disciple, lead the way. Yes, Master. The Sea Dragon Palace is at the bottom of this deep sea. Seo Ran points downwards into the waters. Despite the clear weather, the deep blue sea is dark, and its depth seems immense. However, Song Jin doesn't seem bothered and simply nods, holding the steering wheel. Good, then everyone hold your breath. Kugugugu. Soon after, the nether crossing ship, engulfed in ghostly energy, begins to submerge into the sea. Such a variety of functions. Cha, I ponder this while observing the ghostly energy of the nether crossing ship repelling the water. The ghostly energy of the nether crossing ship seemed to be slightly consumed by the sunlight above the water surface, but as it descended deeper, it absorbed the yin energy of the deep sea, replenishing its strength on its own. This is all just a ruined wreck's functionality. I look around the nether crossing ship for a while before losing interest. Buk Hyunghwa, Kim Young-hoon, Cheongmin Ryong, Buk Jong-ho, and the neighbors of Cheon Sak City. After they died, I somehow lost enthusiasm for everything. Even seeing something fascinating only sparks temporary interest. Kugugugu. After descending into the deep sea for a period of time, the nether crossing ship finally reaches the seabed. Kuguging. We've arrived. Follow Seo Ran and break the seal on the Sea Dragon Palace. I nod and, holding my breath, follow Seo Ran out of the ghostly nether crossing ship. Chalk. The immense water pressure presses down on me, but with Gangchi flowing in my veins, it isn't a big threat. Being unable to breathe is also not a problem, as I could last 3 or 4 days longer than mortals. Seo Ran transformed into his sea dragon form and swam ahead in the deep sea. The surface was full of warm and pleasant spiritual energy, but the deep sea below is somehow desolate. It is dark and devoid of life. There should be life even in the deep sea. However, around here, it seems as if no living creature exists. Even microscopic organisms didn't appear within my domain of consciousness. It's almost like the Dead Sea. After a while, following Seo Ran, I understood the reason. Kugugugu. A massive wall of darkness. A huge semicircular something is covering the land at the bottom of the deep sea in front of us. And, this wall of darkness seems to be endlessly absorbing the vital force around it. Is this the seal of the Sea Dragon Palace? Since the demon race's language vibrates spiritual energy instead of air, if one is capable, there's no need to open the mouth to speak. I asked Seo Ran in a breath-holding state, and he nodded. Yes, please follow me. Over there, in the corner, is the weakest flow of the seal. I have cast a corroding spell there to weaken the seal. I swim for a while following Seo Ran, and then, at one corner of the seal, I can see it surrounded by dark mist. Kugugugu. The yin energy and ghostly energy densely accumulated by the formation sticks thickly towards one corner of the seal, burning a blue ghost fire. Having some expertise in formations myself, I can tell which part of the seal the Black Ghost Valley's notorious formation, the Ghost Whale Corroding Formation, has weakened. Do I attack the center? Yes. Please, I ask for your help. Calmly holding the formless sword, I take a stance. Kugugugu. And then, I thrust the formless sword towards the Ghost Whale Corroding Formation. Ku. The seabed of the deep sea shales. Although there is no loud explosion underwater, massive ripples spread out visibly around it. But the formation set by Seo Whale doesn't budge. Is this not enough? I once again hold up the formless sword. Severing Mountain Swordsmanship, Ultimate Technique, Severing Mountain. Kuooo. Once again, a cloud of dust rises from the bottom of the deep sea. So this is how much it weakened. This time there was a vibration, but the seal remains strong. After executing Severing Mountain, I immediately return to the stance of Transcending Mountain. I maintain the state of Endless Mountains Beyond Mountains. While maintaining Endless Mountains Beyond Mountains, I repeatedly strike Seo Whale's seal with Severing Mountain. It took about 16 consecutive hits of Severing Mountain executed by the formless sword before the seal cracked. Jek, Jejejek. The seal, it split open. And then, cha, a hole opened up causing the surrounding water to be sucked inside. Poohoop. I enter inside with the water current. Pooha, ha. The inner space seems to be filled with air, allowing me to breathe. After a while, Seo Ran transforms back into his human form and enters inside. It's been a long time since I've been here. I haven't been here since I was very young. Seo Ran looks around, seemingly nostalgic. What immense energy. I absorb the surrounding spiritual energy, observing the immense spiritual energy filling the area. The spiritual energy inside the seal is extraordinarily higher than outside. Apparently, the seal not only blocked access for outsiders but also seemed to absorb the surrounding spiritual energy and vital force, concentrating it inside. Just then, I see the Sea Dragon Palace unfolding before my eyes. Like an ancient imperial palace of the human world, it is lined with stately halls and ancient palaces. The jade-colored tiles on the halls, which appear somewhat divine at a glance, are lined up, giving off a grand feeling. However, as I look at these halls, I feel something strange. Something familiar. Kududuk. I execute the earth wall spell to block the water pouring from the cracked opening. Then, kicking off the void, I fly up into the sky. Senior. Seo Ran looks at me, puzzled, but I fly up into the air to take in the whole view of this ancient Sea Dragon Palace. The structure of this Sea Dragon Palace is. I have seen a structure resembling this Sea Dragon Palace before. Chapter 117. What you trampled on, the path you have tread 5. This is definitely the overall structure of the Sea Dragon Palace in front of me. And the ritualistic formation I saw in the hidden room on the top floor of Serving Command Palace. Somehow, their structures overlap in my mind. After observing the Sea Dragon Palace for a while, I descend and ask Seo Ran. Taoist Seo, do you know anything about the construction of the Sea Dragon Palace? Oh, are you asking about the structure of the Sea Dragon Palace? Seo Ran gestures in the air, softly touching the spiritual energy flowing around. As you are feeling right now, this Sea Dragon Palace always has a flow of auspicious energy and comfortable spiritual energy. I see. Indeed, the area where the Sea Dragon Palace is located always has a strange flow of auspicious energy, and I could feel a faint sense of sacredness. At the same time, absorbing the spiritual energy of the Sea Dragon Palace seems to clear my mind somehow. The Sea Dragon Palace itself forms a kind of ritualistic formation, and the Dragon King said that this formation is designed to awaken and clear the minds of the Sea Dragon tribe living here, maintaining their pure and composed state of mind. A formation for mental awakening. I recall the formation in the hidden room of Serving Command Palace. If the structures are almost identical, even if the effects are slightly different, surely the formation in Serving Command Palace is also related to the mind. I fall into doubt. Why, is there a mind-related formation left in Serving Command Palace? What was the Sea Dragon King thinking? I'll have to ask Song Jin later if he knows about this formation. Anyway, let's search the Sea Dragon Palace. Seo Ran leads the way, looking around. This is the outer palace, with various complex formations, but once we enter the inner palace, there are almost no formations, so we can look for Dharma treasures or spiritual elixirs there. Understood. I followed Seo Ran, breaking through the formations of the outer palace and entering the inner palace. The deeper into the Sea Dragon Palace, the more intense the auspicious and sacred energies seem to become. My mind is becoming clearer. Gradually, my consciousness became clearer. What can be in this place? Seo Ran and I decided to split up and search different parts of the Sea Dragon Palace. There are prohibitions everywhere. The outer palace had traps where if one steps wrongly, they fall into a maze-like formation. However, the inner palace had active prohibitions spread throughout. Each one is not easy to deal with. It takes 2 or 3 strikes with the formless sword to break them. But the presence of prohibitions means something valuable is hidden inside. Where should I start searching? Just when I am wandering inside the inner palace. I suddenly find one hall among the many, uniquely without any prohibitions. This hall is among the larger ones, and though there are no prohibitions, ritualistic scripts are engraved all over, emitting spiritual energy. Clearly, it's no ordinary place, but strangely, this is the only place without prohibitions. I enter the hall, feeling something odd. Creak. Startled. As I opened the door and entered, I trembled at the strong smell of blood coming from inside. This place is. The inside of the hall is spacious. Along the edges of the hall are numerous bookshelves, and in the center, there is a large celestial map. The celestial map depicts constellations corresponding to the 28 stars, positions of the Purple Forbidden Enclosure, Supreme Palace Enclosure, and the Heavenly Market Enclosure. It also shows the sun and the moon embroidered on it. And above the beautiful celestial map, there's dried scattered blood, giving off a chilling feel. What on earth is this? Moreover, while the bookshelves along the edges are intact, there are no books inside, only heaps of black, burnt charcoal. The bookshelves were all charred, as if Did someone kill the inhabitant of this place and burn all the books of the hall's owner? The most likely suspect is certainly Seo Wei-ol. Given his twisted nature, it's entirely possible he would do something like this. The reason there are no prohibitions here is perhaps because there's nothing left, so there's no need to set them up. It seems I have stumbled upon the scene of someone's crime, with nothing else to gain. I was about to leave the hall when it happened. SSS's. A sensation caught my attention, a sensation only I could perceive. Having mastered the Yin Soul Ghost incantation, a curse method. This is a curse. Someone had left a deep, lingering curse here. Jang. My inner core suddenly vibrates. And then, I feel the intense curse that had been lingering somewhere rushing towards me. Oh no. I panic and try to neutralize the curse with the Yin Soul Ghost incantation, but the curse already attaches itself to me. And then, someone's voice began to be heard. Will find her to me human, a voice filled with intense resentment. Seo Ran, outside not. The voice, filled with pain, speaks. Trust him and trust to him. Ran look under. Celestial map. And with that, the voice cuts off. PSSSH. The curse that was attached to me, seemingly with the sole purpose of conveying that message, disappeared after leaving me with a slight headache. Look under the celestial map. The floor where the celestial map is drawn is made of stone slabs of jade. I infuse my arms with pure spiritual force and forcefully insert my fingers between the slabs, lifting them. UGUK, UGRGRGRGRUK. Gradually, the slabs are lifted up. Beneath, there is a decaying leather-bound book, seemingly just an ordinary item with no spiritual energy, probably just a diary of the voice's owner. An item not even detected by my consciousness. It seems that these jade slabs had some role in blocking consciousness and spiritual energy. I pull the book towards me using sword control, then put the slabs back in place. Kugugu. The slabs were quite heavy, so I wiped off my sweat. On the book is a simple title in demon script, Diary. Why would they want to pass on their diary to Seo Ran? I check the diary for any special spells or techniques. Indeed, it's just a diary, without any traps or backhands. Sararik, the owner of the diary, a sea dragon tribe elder named Jeon Hyung, was an astronomer responsible for celestial observations. Most of the diary's content involved their daily activities as an astronomer, noting unusual celestial phenomena, what they ate that day, conversations they had, and the weather. I spoke with a senior of the Heavenly Circle stage today. He told me that if I keep observing the world's end, my headache will only worsen and advised me to consume an elixir for relief. The person referred to heavenly being cultivators is seniors of the Heavenly Circle stage. The demon race often uses the term Heavenly Circle instead of heavenly being. Those who typically dislike the term heavenly being tend to hold demon race supremacy beliefs, and they are known to capture and consume humans. Indeed, Jeon Hyung often consumed human elixirs. I extracted and consumed the core formed by the livestock trained in the summoning wind, coagulating core transformation. Indeed, its efficacy is remarkable. The headache has disappeared. There are rumors that the king has developed an even more exceptional livestock cultivation method. Not only does it involve extracting the cultivation efforts of the livestock by infusing them with the true blood of the sea dragon tribe, but it is also said to be an outstanding method that allows the sea dragon tribe to resurrect in the livestock's body once, should they die in battle. The livestock's body serves as a vessel for this singular resurrection. TCH. Regardless of the species, exploiting another race to this extent, is that really right? I flip through the diary, clicking my tongue at the sea dragon tribe's anecdotes. Sararik. As I browse, I pause at a certain entry. Today, the Dragon King, I, and the other astronomers, along with the elders of the sea dragon tribe, gathered for a meeting. The king explained the astronomical records we had submitted to the elders, sharing a certain speculation he had been considering. It was a truly chilling speculation. If it were true, it meant that those living in this world could only prove their dignity by ascending and leaving this world. A Heavenly Circle elder opposed the king's words. He said it was too far-fetched, a speculation. Although I felt chills, I do think the king's words were a bit exaggerated. It was a meeting that gave me much to ponder. I must visit the world's end more frequently and observe the heavens more closely. This was the end of that day's entry. Speculation. What is the speculation mentioned here? What exactly did Seo Wei-ol think upon seeing the astronomical records? I continue flipping through the diary. The next few pages were records of mundane daily life. Then, once again, I stop at a section of the diary. It seems the Dragon King had observed something else separately. The king called together the elders and us astronomers, presenting a hypothesis about the speculation he had mentioned. It was an interesting hypothesis. In this world, day and night do not actually exist. Rather, it's merely that the heaven and earth spiritual energy divides into yin and yang, circulating in a cycle. On a macroscopic level, the grand flow of spiritual energy divides into yin and yang, rotating this world, leading to the illusion of day and night. In our world, day and night do not actually exist. What? Day and night do not exist? What does that even mean? I look at the sentence several times, unable to comprehend. But still, I can't understand. It was disrespectful to the king, but we astronomers couldn't help but laugh. The idea that day and night don't actually exist while the sun and moon orbit the world. As we struggled to contain our laughter, the elders became furious. Eventually, we were scolded, listening to the wrathful voice of the Grand Elder. Normally, such disrespect could have warranted punishment, but the king, with a heart as vast as the sea, forgave us. The king may indulge in somewhat extravagant imaginations, but his boundless compassion and heart are truly admirable. I only feel sorry towards the king. The sun and moon orbit the world. Apparently, in this world shaped as a flat plane. The heliocentric model, where the world revolves around the sun, doesn't apply, but rather a geocentric model, where the sun and moon orbit the world, seems to be the accepted theory. But CEO Whale's statement concerns me. If day and night doesn't truly exist, does that mean neither geocentric nor heliocentric models apply to this world? With this question in mind, I turn the page. Recently, a half-human, half-dragon brat named CEO Ran is causing a stir in the Sea Dragon Palace. If it weren't for his royal lineage, I would have driven him out immediately, but he always clings to me and annoys me. The king always greets CEO Ran with a smiling face, but those with insight know that the king doesn't really fancy him. Ironically, that annoying brat follows the king the most, but does he realize that it's the king who most often orchestrates situations to avoid him? I wish that brat would soon realize this himself and leave the Sea Dragon Palace. Quote. Sir Arik. I turn to the next page. We astronomers plan to go to the world's end to properly align ourselves and observe the orbit of the sun and moon, intending to shatter the king's speculation. Some of the elders subtly support us. They seem to want to prove that the king's extravagant speculation is wrong. The idea that day and night don't actually exist, as sorry as I am to say this about the king who has accomplished so much, it seems that the king might have spoken so because of his lack of understanding in astronomy. I won't be able to write in this journal for the next few months. We'll be holed up at the world's end, repeatedly observing. I must take plenty of the livestock scores with me. The headaches worsen when continuously facing the world's end. Sir Arik. The following pages are blank. As I continue turning the pages, I eventually reach a part where the diary resumes. The handwriting here is incredibly erratic. It is evident that Jeon Hyung was extremely agitated when writing this entry. With my own hands, I succeeded in observing the sun and the moon. It's unbelievable. The results are too strange. Neither the sun nor the moon orbits the world. Both celestial bodies are simply fixed in one place in the sky. Even the rising and setting of the sun and moon from the east and west are just an illusion. The actual position of the sun and moon is in the south, closest to our Sea Dragon tribe's homeland. The hypothesis proposed by the king was correct. Neither the sun nor the moon orbits. They simply remain in place, and in this world, there is no day or night. What we thought of as day and night is merely the macroscopic circulation of the yin and yang of heaven and earth's spiritual energy. Jeon Hyung's handwriting is extremely shaky, as if their hands were trembling while writing. I can feel from his writing that Jeon Hyung was terrified. If the king's hypothesis is proven, then what does it say about this world? Isn't the form of this world too grotesque? Have we been breathing, cultivating, and living in such an ominous place? How are we any different from maggots? I began my observations intending to refute the king's speculation, but in the end, the astronomical observations of myself and the other astronomers only splendidly prove the king's hypothesis. The Council of Elders is calling for me. Not just me, but all the other astronomers will be gathered too. I'm afraid. Have I inadvertently proven such a grotesque truth? Sir Arik. In the next page, the handwriting is a bit more stable. Beheading punishment. If that statement is true, then this place is definitely not where we should live. I and the other astronomers, along with all members of the Council of Elders, agreed with the king's opinion that all races should ascend together at once. The king is indeed benevolent. Isn't he giving the other races an opportunity to preserve their dignity too? Beheading punishment. What does that mean? It seems like Jeon Hyang wrote something in the diary that only they knew. Is it some sort of code? I can't tell at the moment. Sararik. I turn the pages again. The youngest at the core formation stage among us astronomers, a naive youngster who couldn't even perform transformation, briefly went to the continent and was captured and killed by a human devilish cultivator. The king chased down that cultivator to reprimand him and retrieve the body. Indeed, humans are all treacherous and unreliable trash. These creatures are best used as livestock. After all, aren't the elixirs made from them the most effective? And the headaches from observing the world's end are also best alleviated by the cores of these livestock. Of course, there will be no need for them for headaches anymore. The reason for headaches when gazing at the world's end was revealed to be due to unintentional eye contact with a great boundary true immortal. Even if it's not the gaze of a true immortal, observing the world's end means continuously witnessing the will of true immortals, so it's natural that the upper dantian is unknowingly under strain. Now, we astronomers have stopped meaningless astronomical observations. Hence, there's no more need for elixirs, and they will be used as emergency medicinal materials. Great boundary true immortal. Suddenly, the folktale book I read to the child in a previous village comes to mind. In the folktale, the sun and moon were depicted as eyes. I continue flipping through the pages. I've been feeling terrible lately. Is it because I've observed such a terrifying fact with my own hands? That fact lingers in my mind and won't leave. The realization that I have been unwittingly making eye contact with an unfathomable entity fills me with deep fear. What was that entity thinking while looking at me? Lately, whenever I recall that fact, it feels like it's driving me insane. It's not just me. I can see that the characters of most of the astronomers are becoming increasingly volatile. They too always seem to have fear written on their faces. Sarek, this is madness. The Mad Lord, that perverted old monster, attacked the livestock pen. Not only the royal family managing the pen, but also my fellow astronomers who were visiting have been captured by that monster and turned into living puppets. The pen has collapsed, and all the livestock have escaped. The king rushed out to pursue the Mad Lord, but he had already fled. It's so bitter and grievous. All the emergency medicinal materials have run away. Lately, we haven't been observing the heavens, so there's no headache, but it's a painfully significant loss. Sararik. The atmosphere has been strange lately. Although it's said that our relationship with Black Ghost Valley has worsened and we have been in disputes with them, it's unusual how often my fellow astronomers are being attacked or go missing. Starting with the youngest core formation stage astronomer last time, from the attacks by the Mad Lord, it seems like my fellow astronomers are being targeted unusually often. There are quite a few who have disappeared without any apparent reason. It's likely that the elders, who have been unsupportive of the king and encouraging our astronomical observations while opposing the king's extravagant speculations, are putting us in danger. My fellow astronomers discussed this and decided to inform the king about it. I, as the representative, went to the king to report. The king praised me with a trusting face, saying I did well in speaking up. He assured us of his protection. Especially me, being an exceptional astronomer who directly observed the sun and the moon, he said I would be firmly protected. I am grateful. Thinking about it, since the fact I observed not only affected the astronomers but also changed the expressions of the heavenly circle elders, it's surprising. Despite such a terrifying truth that should affect everyone regardless of being at the nascent soul or heavenly circle stage, the king always maintains his benevolent smile and gives us faith. As expected, he is our king. Sararik. I turn the next page. And then, I see Jeon Hyang's handwriting start to shake again in the following entry. What is happening? Among the astronomers, I'm the only one left. All have either disappeared or died in battles with the Black Ghost Valley, at the hands of the Mad Lord, or due to other disasters. The king promised to protect us, yet how has it come to this? I know it's disrespectful, but I can't help but make a terrifying speculation. It's not the elders who oppose the king, but the king himself is orchestrating the disappearance of the astronomers who know the truth. It can't be. He is a benevolent person. I mustn't worry. It's just a needless thought. Sararik. And in the very next entry, the handwriting became completely distorted, and oozing with rage. Your Majesty, you are pushing the astronomers who know the truth towards death. I too will soon die. Promising to firmly protect me meant nothing but to exploit me to the end before killing me. I am going to die. I won't even be able to participate in the ascension. Why are you doing this to us, Your Majesty? Why? Is the truth we know harmful to the Sea Dragon tribe? It might be. It's so terrifying that even the seniors of the heavenly circle stage are sometimes tormented by it. Even we who have reached the nascent soul stage spend sleepless nights. Yes, if it's for the good of the Sea Dragon tribe. If it's for the sake of our tribe, then it can't be helped. Let's accept it. Their handwriting started in anger but seemed to stabilize as they reconciled their thoughts while writing. Sir Rarik, after accepting my inevitable death, I feel at peace. One must accept that they will one day die. Accepting death, life, in fact, feels renewed. Things I couldn't see before are now visible. This precious life, the scenery of the Sea Dragon Palace. And then, there's Saren, who seems to be ostracized under the king's leadership, just like me. I've recently become close to that child. Perhaps it's a case of shared misery. The child is exceptionally bright. Previously blinded by prejudice regarding race and lineage, now I see the child's intelligence. Quite adorable. If this kid had joined the astronomers, I would have treated him well. The king said he won't take this child on the ascension. Instead, he assigned him the task of liberating the souls of the Sea Dragon warriors trapped in the wrecked Nether Crossing ship destroyed in the war with the Mad Lord. Indeed, the king, though stern, truly cares for the Sea Dragon tribe. Seo Ran, this child too, is pitiable, but it's for the sake of the tribe, so sacrifice is necessary. I too will soon die for the sake of our tribe. The king's demeanor towards me is subtly changing. Perhaps I will die before the ascension gate opens. Jaeon Hyung's diary is nearing its end. Sir Rarik. And then, when I turn the next page. This is blood. The next page is written in dried blood. Seo Weol, I despise you. All of our Sea Dragon tribe are being deceived by him. He is not a king, just an ignorant mortal. Seo Ran, I leave this message for you. If you return to the Sea Dragon Palace, read my diary and learn the true nature of Seo Weol. It was all lies. Do not believe anything he has said. He is a madman, more deranged than the Mad Lord, consumed by vengeance, a broken monster. Even to the Sea Dragon tribe. Seo Ran, he is coming to kill me now. I can't leave a long message. Be sure to read this diary later. Thank you for being my confidant. Sir Rarik, that is the last page of the diary. Although I don't understand everything, the diary provides many insights. I closed Jaeon Hyung's diary. Grotesque form of the world. Day and night being an illusion. Seo Weol's true nature. Various truths swirl confusingly in my mind. Even Yuan Li is under the influence of Seo Weol. What does Seo Weol want? Thud, just when I close the diary. Wriggle, wriggle, wriggle. Suddenly, the diary began to wriggle. What? I hadn't sensed any presence or spiritual energy infused in it. But why? And then, puff, from between the pages of the diary, a blue hand reaches out and grabs my arms with crushing strength. Coo-goo-goo-goo-goo. Suddenly, I feel a heavy weight all over my body. The heaven and earth spiritual energy around me presses down, pinning me in place. What is this? And then, a voice filled with kindness and gentleness, Seo Weol's voice, begins to be heard. Closing this diary means, Seo Ran, that you have survived without using the space-breaking bead and somehow reached the Sea Dragon Palace. Jaeon Hyung thought he hid the diary well in front of me, but unfortunately for him, he didn't. What? Regrettably, Ran that was the extent of your role. Liberating the souls of the Sea Dragon tribe warriors trapped in the Nether Crossing ship was your last utility, and your continued existence is now just an obstacle. So, rest now. Go to your mother and father's side. Crack, crackle, I struggle desperately to break free from Seo Weol's grasp. Just then, coo-goo-goo-goo-goo, the entire Sea Dragon Palace suddenly begins to tremble. Seo Weol, translator notes. Adding is like xiao in Chinese. It's a suffix added to names to denote affection or familiarity, a term of endearment. I made sure to include it to further highlight Seo Weol's hypocrisy and heartlessness. Is a term used in Buddhism and Taoism to describe someone that is not spiritually enlightened, in contrast to the sages and those with spiritual understanding. It means ordinary person, but to fit in the context of the setting and meaning, I translated it as ignorant mortal. Chapter 118. What you trampled on, the path you have tread. 6. Bang! I immediately kick through the hall and rush out. PSSHT. The blue arm that sprung from the book and had been holding me, now enveloped in a faint aura, scatters into the air. However, the transformation happening throughout the Sea Dragon Palace does not cease. The lingering will of the Sea Dragon King. In terms of power, it's far less than the remnant soul of Song Jin, but it's still the remnant consciousness of the Sea Dragon King. Such an insignificant thing is now spreading throughout the Sea Dragon Palace, awakening the heaven and earth spiritual energy everywhere. And then, boom, boom, boom. The halls of the Sea Dragon Palace begin to burst open one by one. Numerous artifacts and Dharma treasures from inside the halls burst forth, shining in the air. Flash. In an instant, everything around is bathed in the light emitted by the countless treasures of the Sea Dragon Palace. This is, Senior, what's happening here? Seo Ran, transformed into a dragon, flies towards me. I, sweating profusely, watch the unfolding events. Taoist Seo, yes, Senior, let's run. Goo. The blue water attribute Dharma treasures gathered together, absorbing Seo Wayol's lingering consciousness. The lights from the treasures flicker and form a giant blue dragon, resembling Seo Wayol. Quagwagwong. The dragon, formed from the combined Dharma treasures, begins to rampage. This is madness. Goo. The Sea Dragon Palace is swept away by the dragon's thrashing. The power of the gathered Dharma treasures, combined with the remnants of a heavenly being's consciousness, is far stronger than Song Jin without his Dharma treasures. Its power is immensely close to that of a nascent soul. But the real problem isn't that. Senior, it's coming. Fleeing. The dragon swings its tail towards us. Quagwagwa. A tremendous trail of destruction is left, but the real danger comes afterwards. Click. From the scales of the dragon's tail, one of the small Dharma treasures remained even after the tail swung away. Damn it. Flash. The treasure wrapped in blue light scatters brilliance. Quang. The Dharma treasure self-destructed. I shield Seo Ran from the blast, pushing the explosion away. My hands tingle. My body's already in bad shape from using endless mountains. Beyond mountains to break the seal. Each time I block a self-destructing Dharma treasure, my arms tremble more. We need to escape, but we're surrounded. We are surrounded by the Dragon Palace's seal, and the hole we used to enter is now blocked by the dragon made of Dharma treasures, making approach difficult. As if this isn't annoying enough, the treasures are self-destructing one by one. Seeing that we were not visibly harmed, the dragon started to self-destruct more of its Dharma treasures. Can't we do something about those self-destructing treasures? It's impossible. Besides, Seo Ran's face darkened. The dragon, as it fights us, is drawing more power from the Dharma treasures, turning brighter. True to his words, the more the dragon fights us, the more the Dharma treasures comprising its body glow with blue light. When it becomes completely bright, the entire dragon will self-destruct. Crunch. I grit my teeth at the absurd situation. Seo Wayol, whether his target is Seo Ran or not. In any case, the plan to confront Yuan Li here and push forward with using Dharma treasures has completely fallen apart. Whoosh. The figure of the blue dragon continues to brighten. At this rate, it's uncertain when it will suddenly explode. Just then, boom, one side of the seal trembles, and the dark prow of a decayed ship emerges from beyond the formation. It's the Nether Crossing ship. Activate. The teleportation array starts activating, and we barely manage to escape the blue dragon's thrashing, flying up into the Nether Crossing ship. Roar. The blue dragon roars, and its body becomes incandescent. That massive body, it's going to self-destruct. At the same time, the teleportation array attempts to begin spatial transfer. The Nether Crossing ship is engulfed in the void and rushes through space, and we escape from the Sea Dragon Palace as it is enveloped in blue light for the last time. I came because my disciple sent a distress signal. In the end, the Dharma treasures in the Sea Dragon Palace all transformed into the shape of the blue dragon and self-destructed. Is that it? Song Jin presses his temples with his fingers. So, there's no gain at all. Both Seo Ran and Song Jin look downcast. I show them the diary of Jeon Hyung that I managed to save in the chaos. During the chaos, I managed to save this. When the diary was closed, the residual consciousness left by Seo Wayol in the diary activated, causing that commotion. Indeed, I can feel Seo Wayol's consciousness embedded in it. If certain conditions are met, his consciousness activates and delivers predetermined instructions. He is indeed a meticulous man. In the case of Seo Ran destroying the Nether Crossing ship and accidentally surviving, reaching the Sea Dragon Palace. Even then, Seo Wayol made sure Seo Ran would be killed. Is there a reason why Seo Ran must be killed to this extent? Then, is there anything else left in this book? I ask Song Jin if there are any traps or backhands left. From my perspective, there doesn't seem to be anything else. I nod and hand it over to Seo Ran. For future cycles, it's better to bring the diary to Song Jin first before casually opening it. Whether it's Seo Whale's consciousness or whatever, what's the harm in feeding the remaining remnant consciousness to the Nether Crossing ship? This is the diary of Jaeon Hyung, an astronomer of the Sea Dragon tribe. Take a look, it seems that they left it for you to read, Taoist Seo. Ah, the diary of the elder. Seo Ran was startled and quickly received the diary. While he was reading the diary, the Nether Crossing ship already returned to its original place in the Black Wind Sea. This must be the extent of our gains this time. With an explosion of that magnitude, not only the other pavilions but also the spiritual elixirs and plants remaining in the Sea Dragon Palace would have turned into dust. Right, now that I think about it. I asked Song Jin about the structure of the Sea Dragon Palace and the ritualistic formation I had seen. So, do you know anything about the spell formation that's in the Sea Dragon Palace? I'm not sure exactly what formation you're talking about. Song Jin strokes his chin and tilts his head. At his question, Seo Ran, who had been frantically reading the diary, momentarily looks up and forms a hand seal. Whoosh! In front of us, spiritual energy forms and takes the shape of the spell formation I saw. When Seo Ran infuses his power into it, the spell formation activates, and I feel my consciousness clear and awake. This is the formation Senior Seo is talking about, Master. Ah, this one. It's different from the Black Ghost Valley, so I wondered what it was. Song Jin seems to recognize it. Seo Ran focuses back on the diary, and Song Jin observes the spell formation in front of him. A spell that awakens the upper Dantian, expressed using the demon race's spell formation, that is what this formation is. Upper Dantian, awakening. The Sea Dragon tribe and the Black Ghost Valley have been competing for dominance over the Great Sea for tens of thousands of years, influencing each other's spells to some extent. And one of them is whoosh. Energy emits from the tips of Song Jin's fingers, heading towards his Baihui point. This spell of awakening, here. The energy entering the Baihui point seems to rotate inside Song Jin's skull, and after a while, it shoots out from his forehead. What is this? I have seen this spell before. Previously, when White Bone Ghost Devil Heo Gwak forced team leader Kim's consciousness to awaken, they used this technique. It was also very similar to the technique used by the Jin clan to amplify talent by infusing souls into the upper Dantian. I remember, even Kim Hung used the ignition of the upper Dantian, starting from the Baihui and leading the flow of pure spiritual force through the forehead, burning it up. The flow is exactly the same. I don't know Seo Whale's true intentions, but outwardly, he was always a gentle and righteous leader, always wanting the Sea Dragon tribe to maintain a clear mind. So, using the structure of the Sea Dragon Palace itself to spread the spell of awakening wouldn't be strange. Quote. Then why did he spread that awakening spell, in the hidden layers of the Serving Command Palace? I also told Song Jin about what Seo Whale had done. Maybe if it's him, he might think of something. But Song Jin shook his head, indicating he couldn't recall anything after hearing my words. Strange, why in the Serving Command Palace's control room? Control room, yes. The hidden layer your group entered is the Serving Command Palace's control room. If you place the Serving Command seal on the platform made for it, it allows control over the Serving Command Palace through that seal. This is new information. So, he spread the spell of awakening in the control room because I can't even guess his intentions. What was his goal? While I ponder, Seo Ran, having finished reading the diary of Jaeon Hyung, wears a bitter smile on his extremely darkened face. Fortunately, no more blue hands sprang out of the diary after the previous incident, suggesting Seo Whale's tricks had ended. Quote. I really grew up abandoned by everyone. Except for Elder Jaeon Hyung, who finally opened his heart to me. His face is a mix of unmistakable pain. That expression resembles, was it when he committed suicide using the space-breaking bead? I don't know what my purpose in living is anymore. I look at him with pained eyes. In the past, I would have tried to comfort him or consider his feelings to lessen his pain. But honestly, I don't feel much of anything now. Only a slight sense of shared misery arose when he showed his painful thoughts. How did I used to comfort others? I can't remember how to do anything with a warm heart. I can't recall what my heart used to feel like. Maybe, I did it like this. But still, knowing that Seo Ran's suicide would make things even more depressing, I managed to recall enough to comfort him. Don't worry, Taoist Seo. You have truly formed a master-disciple bond now, haven't you? There's still someone who cares about you, find your meaning in that. Quote. Is that so? My words seem to lift some of the shadows from Co Ran's face. Thank you. I receive his thanks and look back at Song Jin with dull eyes. In any case, we are back to square one. So, in the end we got nothing, but could you help me using my last favor? Ha, Song Jin sighs deeply. All right, I didn't want to put my disciple in danger, but in 200 years. I'll make him reach core formation and help you. Of course, I'll help too. Quote. Thank you. Thus, while we didn't gain much material aid from the Sea Dragon Palace, I obtained a lot of precious information and a firm promise of assistance from Song Jin. After receiving his promise, I left the Black Wind Sea. And then, 10 years passed. In that time, with the Cheonmin clan, I collected both the formation artifacts and the longevity fruits. Now, the day of the great conference with all the core formation cultivators of the continent gathering is approaching. Swoosh, I fly rapidly across the northern grasslands. It should be around here. Holding the invitation plaque, I sense the spiritual energy around me. And then, after a while, whoosh, I sense an area hidden behind a formation in the distance. Thump, it's a place covered by an illusion formation, invisible to the eye. But when I bring the plaque near it, the formation shines, opening a path for me. I enter through the path through the formation. This place is true to the northern grasslands. There are numerous white tents set up inside formation. These tents, befitting cultivators, are adorned with many spell runes, and I can feel the presence of core formation cultivators inside. Ah, you've arrived, cultivator Co. From a distance, Cheonmin Jungjin approaches me with a welcoming expression. I nod in response. You're as you were. Quote. He looks at my expression and his face turns bitter. I can't help it. I can't remember how to smile, and my eyes remain dull. I have forgotten how to wear any expression other than this vacant one. Just then, another person crosses over the formation. An old man in gray robes. It's Wulryong. He, too, has the same face as 10 years ago, although different from mine. A deeply angry expression. We make eye contact and nod to each other in simple greetings. As we are about to enter the largest tent, designated as the conference hall. Wait, you, Wulryong points at me and speaks. His voice seems to tremble. That thing at your waist, why do you have it? Quote. I look at Hyong Hwa's remnant at my waist, the jade norige. It's the heirloom of my beloved. What? That's, my great-grandson used to wear that. Ah, I suddenly realize, absurdly, the fate of Buck Hyonghwa. Her fated partner was Wulryong's great-grandson, already devoured by Yuan Li before my point of return. Chapter 119. What you trampled on, the path you have tread. 7. Ah, I see. That was an item my granddaughter-in-law brought when she married into the family. My grandson was from the Grasslands tribe, but his wife was from Biokra. When they had my great-grandson, she gifted the child an orige. Now that I think about it, Wulryong and I are talking in front of the tent. The world is indeed small. To meet such a connection in such a place. My granddaughter-in-law wished for her friend's child to be matched with my great-grandson, but my great-grandson chose a suitable partner for himself and got married without being bound by that promise. I listen quietly to his story. As my great-grandson got married and he and his wife were living happily. Yuan Li, that bastard, one day he attacked the child's tribe. Kurj. Wulryong grinds his teeth, his intent seething with anger. Everyone died, and my great-grandson vanished, leaving only his lower body behind. He always carried the norige his mother had given him. Quote. I will definitely reclaim my great-grandson's upper body from that devil. Upper body. There seemed to be a certain fate at play. Buck Hyonghwa lost her lower body, and her fated partner, the upper body. Both devoured by Yuan Li. Amidst my thoughts, I grind my teeth next to the old man. Why must the tyranny of the powerful bring despair and pain to others? Me, and this man as well. Everyone suffered unbearable pain and lost something precious to Yuan Li. I think to myself, does he have anything precious? It's unknown. Can someone who holds something precious so ruthlessly take away others without a second thought? I became lost deep in my thoughts, and Wulryong continued to curse Yuan Li endlessly. And then, after a while, all core formation cultivators from the entire continent gathered, and the Grand Council began. Inside the tent, space compression was applied. There are about 200 core formation cultivators. This number includes members from minor clans and secluded cultivators who hadn't been contacted previously, as well as those from ostracized powers, which are about 50 more than last time. Around 200 core formation cultivators. This is the last force left in this world. Quote. Then, let's commence the Grand Council regarding the war against the old monster Yuan Li, who caused the heaven-treading desert massacre. Qianmen Zhengjin stood up and addressed the assembly. The decision was made that Qianmen Zhengjin is the most suitable leader for this alliance, probably greatly influenced by the fact that he is a descendant of Azure Tiger Saint. The meeting began. Various factions presented different plans to counter Yuan Li. Qianmen Zhengjin listened to and organized these ideas. And when no more suggestions came forth, he spoke. Now, let me share the plan concluded by the Qianmen clan. Shortly after, he began discussing the Serving Command Palace and the strategy of lowering Yuan Li cultivation from nascent soul to core formation. Are you suggesting we lower the old monster's nascent soul cultivation to core formation level? That's right. We have also confirmed that most of the treasures inside the palace were taken by the heavenly being cultivators, but... He continued his explanation. We found some items still inside the palace, including certain types of immortal liquor and talismans, as well as miscellaneous items. What kind of miscellaneous items? Items like a bamboo pipe that helps in infusing enlightenment into demon beasts, a slightly more sturdy storage bag, a needle that repairs clothes automatically, a ring that aids in digesting food, such ambiguous items. The core formation cultivators, who momentarily harbored hopes, were visibly disappointed and disheartened by his words. Both the liquor and talismans are ancient cultivator treasures, so they're useful, but aren't they both single-use only? Correct. We found only a few bottles of liquor that temporarily enhance abilities and a few kinds of talismans that allow the use of unique techniques for a short time. If they are single-use, they're basically table scraps. Useful, but... It was then, the head of the Byuk clan, Byuk Qianji's eyes flashed and asked. Talismans, did you say talismans? Yes, that's right. Did you, by any chance, check what kind of talismans are remaining? I didn't check in detail. Byuk Qianji chuckles and pulls something out of his robe. Last time Serving Command Palace was open, our Byuk clan was also able to secure a few things from there. One of them was this. That is, whoosh. What Byuk Qianji produced from his robe were two shining talismans, exuding a divine light. Heaven Striking Talisman, a talisman that can replicate the strike of a heavenly being cultivator once. Heaven Sealing Talisman, a talisman that temporarily wraps the defense of a heavenly being cultivator around oneself. We obtained these two talismans in the last visit to Serving Command Palace. Heavenly being. Yes, with this Heaven Striking Talisman, if it hits, it's possible to turn that bastard into a pulp with one strike. He continued. The heavenly being seniors already have the defensive and offensive capabilities of that level, so they didn't need it, so there must certainly be Heaven Sealing Talismans remaining in Serving Command Palace. And, he smirked. As you said, if we lure that bastard into Serving Command Palace to lower his cultivation, and then use the Heaven Sealing Talisman to defend and the Heaven Striking Talisman to attack the old monster. A glimmer of hope appeared on the faces of Qianmen Zhengjin and the others. I, too, felt a rare sense of joy at the prospect of killing Yuan Li. We can hunt that bastard. Well, I was originally thinking of a different plan, but it seems it needs to be revised. Qianmen Zhengjin points at me. Cultivator CO over here is unaffected by the restraining formation of Serving Command Palace, even when it's activated. Therefore, he can maintain core formation level strength continuously and face Yuan Li one-on-one as he falls to core formation level. Ah, Byuk Qianji looks at me in amazement, and various emotions appear on the faces of the numerous cultivators present. Byuk Qianji says, how about our Byuk clan and this fellow take the lead in facing the old monster while the other cultivators provide support from the rear? Wait, our eastern states also have excellent decisive weapons effective against nascent soul cultivators. Our northern grassland tribes also have famous formations effective against nascent soul cultivators. Nascent soul cultivators are certainly formidable beings, and the wealth they had accumulated over hundreds of years, including Dharma treasures, spirit stones, and elixirs, are far greater than that of core formation cultivators. Perhaps because of this, the core formation cultivators gathered here were already scheming among themselves to divide up the spoils as much as possible. Of course, I have no interest in such petty squabbles over gains. Excluding the Serving Command Palace plan, the methods proposed by the others are all bound to fail, Because, even 200 years later, Yuan Li was alive and well. Especially the heaven-sealing talisman and heaven-striking talisman, boasting the power of the heavenly being. Stage. Why was Yuan Li so unscathed in my past life despite the existence of such terrifying talismans? Of course, this life introduced the variable of the serving command palace plan. So, maybe it's possible to hunt him. But that alone is not enough. He must be killed. Absolutely. If I don't tear him apart in this cycle, I can't console the souls of those who died in this life. After the meeting ended and various cultivators were chattering, I approached Qianmen Zhengjin and whispered another plan. Please keep this plan confidential. I will proceed with it alone. What are you talking about? No, more importantly, is this true? It's true. If it's this, even for a nascent soul cultivator, it would be difficult, right? Of course. No matter how mighty a nascent soul cultivator is, that is not an easy power to contend with. I nod. Besides simply trapping him in serving command palace, a few more plans are needed. To ensure his death. The first conference ended satisfactorily. Practically all future plans were also decided in this conference. From now on, it's just a matter of moving according to the plan. I acted along with the others, starting the task of scraping together the remaining treasures of serving command palace using the nether crossing ship, along with some formation masters and artisan masters. Zing! The formations sealing the treasures of serving command palace were released by the artisans and formation masters, and the items inside were brought out. These miscellaneous items are really of no use. They seem to be mostly for decoration or show. Actually, the liquors and talismans seem more useful. The core formation cultivators who came with me also clicked their tongues at the useless miscellaneous items. Each one was a peculiar Dharma treasure or magic artifact, so there was no particular greed for them. Only the Byuk clan, known for rearing demon beasts, showed some interest in the pipe that infuses enlightenment into beasts, but that was all. Then, let's also release the formations on the liquors and talismans. We succeeded in retrieving talismans and liquors from the serving command palace's treasury with the cooperation of core formation cultivators, formation masters, and artisan masters. Among the talismans, there are 2 heaven-sealing talismans, which grant defensive capability equivalent to that of a heavenly being cultivator. 1 crimson bird talisman that traps the enemy in a formation maze. And 1 transforming demon talisman that allows instantaneous transformation into a demon beast. There were a few more talismans, but they were just ordinary core formation level talismans sold in markets, with no significant utility. There are quite a few liquors. Talismans are very useful, but liquors take up more space and are often single use, granting temporary abilities, so they weren't taken as much. The artisans and formation masters brought by the core formation cultivators classified the immortal liquors and explained them to us. The liquors were roughly divided into 3 types. Immortal liquors that enhance physical abilities like regeneration, speed, defense, and strength for a short period, such as spirit nectar, heavenly heart water, moon spirit liquor, and lower immortal liquor. Immortal liquors that enhance abilities not related to physical strength, for example strengthening the connection with or enhancing Dharma treasures within the body, or improving the ability to handle external objects, such as Dream Lotus Elixir, True Moon Dew, White Red Wine, Mysterious Flame Jade, and True Dew Liquor. Purely recreational liquors that improve mood and clarity of consciousness just by smelling them, like Red Plum Liquor, Whole Heart Liquor, Fringe Fragrance, and Purple Jade Liquor. Qianmen Zhengjin, looking at the liquors, spoke. These types of immortal liquors will be distributed before the decisive battle to amplify abilities. He looks at me, and Byuk Cheng Ji who followed us here. Especially Cultivator Seo, Cultivator Byuk, and Eastern Lord Manly Min Lap, who will confront the old monster head-on, will be given the most varieties of immortal liquors. Understood. Among them, Cultivator Seo and Lord Manly will play the role of hindering the old monster in the early stages, so they will be given the most liquors and talismans. Keep that in mind. Lord Manly Min Lap of the Eastern States gratefully thanks Qianmen Zhengjin, and I nod with a weary face. Thus, the few remaining treasures, immortal liquors, and talismans inside the serving command palace, as well as other consumables, were all retrieved and planned for distribution. The plan to confront Yuan Li is almost finalized, and all clans, tribes, and states are exerting their full efforts to nurture new core formation cultivators. All that is left is for time to pass. During the remaining time, I need to cultivate. There are still 200 years left. Within that time, I plan to enter Qi building great perfection through the advanced practice of the Yin Soul Ghost incantation. but with the current state of the Yin Soul Ghost incantation, I will likely surpass the great perfection and still have time to spare. Then what remains is to find a place to cultivate. After some thought, I decided on a location for my cultivation. And so, time flows on. In a blink of an eye, 200 years have passed. Whoosh! In the mountainous regions of Shaanxi, 3 streaks of dim light soar above. They are 3 core formation cultivators using the flying escape technique. So, young noble Byuk, the cultivator we're visiting is training in his cave. That's right, I've heard he's practicing curse-related techniques, so be prepared for the eerie aura. Creepy, training curse methods in his lone dark cave. Mind your words, did the clan head and elders not say he's key in hunting the old monster? HMPH, I respect the clan head for his authority, but we are core formation cultivators now. How long should we heed the words of those old folks? Young noble Byuk, how about enjoying the scenery of the city before we arrive? Byuk Moon Seong, the core formation cultivator from the Byuk clan, frowns. The 2 beautiful cultivators chattering beside him seem to enjoy flirting with him, but Byuk Moon Seong isn't interested. Foolish beyond measure. We've become core formation cultivators thanks to the unprecedented support from our clans. To dismiss the elders who reached this level through their own skill. Byuk Moon Seong is well aware of his limitations. Even in the past, he would have had to use all his allotted 300 years in the Qi building stage to barely reach core formation. Indeed, no one is as wise and virtuous as her. With a bittersweet smile, Byuk Moon Seong flies with the 2 cultivators towards a village in the mountainous area of Shaanxi. Flash! As the 3 streaks of light hover above the village, villagers came out buzzing with curiosity. Byuk Moon Seong looked down at them and spoke. Is there a large centipede's cave nearby? Where is it located? The village elder approaches Byuk Moon Seong, kneels respectfully, and replies. I am not sure about a centipede's cave, but there's a place called Darken Cave beyond that ridge. Legend has it that a centipede demon lived there 200 years ago. Thank you. Byuk Moon Seong didn't wait to hear more from the village elder. He flew in the direction the elder pointed to. Crossing the ridge, he sees a large cave on a rugged mountainside. Dark, ominous shadows are constantly seeping out of the cave. Curse methods. Byuk Moon Seong swallows hard at the chilling aura. Is every tendril of darkness leaking from there a curse spell? The 2 women who followed Byuk Moon Seong also noticed the cave on the mountainside. That must be the infamous. Shish, don't attract a curse by speaking carelessly. Oh, right, my apologies. Byuk Moon Seong glances back at the duo, then approaches the cave. He respectfully performs a fist and palm salute and calls out. It's been a long time, Cultivator CO. The time for the old monster to be released is nearing. A flicker of killing intent briefly crosses Byuk Moon Seong's eyes. It's time for her revenge. Please come out. Coo-goo-goo-goo-goo. From the cave's depths, sinister shadows began to emerge. Translator notes. Guys, we managed to avoid one rip, but there's no transliteration for Manly Min Lap. Chapter 120. What you trampled on, the path you have tread. 9. Thud, thud. From deep within the cave, something walks out. Gulp. As it emerges, the surrounding curses grow denser. Eventually, Byuk Moon Seong ascends into the air, rising upwards. Rumble, rumble, darkness. A dense dome of darkness surrounds it. Byuk Moon Seong, amidst the darkness, watches thousands of writhing curses and greets the entity. The 2 cultivators who have been chatting heedlessly also send their greetings following Byuk Moon Seong. Long time no see, Cultivator CO. Byuk Moon Seong greeted him again, sizing up his cultivation. Qi building, 4th constellation. Horn, neck, root, room, heart, tail, winnowing basket. Ladle, ox, girl, emptiness, rooftop, chamber, wall. Leg, bond, stomach, hairy head, net, beak, triple star. Well, ghost. He felt the energies of 23 spiritual energy stars of the 4 constellations. Byuk Moon Seong felt the flow of pure spiritual force at the center of the curses and looked at him. Just Qi building 4th constellation, but the strength of grand perfection. Those terrifying curses. Even though I have not been at core formation for long, I don't feel like I can win. Typically, curse sorcerers who practice curse methods handle 30 to 40 curse spells, up to 60 or 70 in some cases. In exceptional cases, more than 90. But what about him? It looks like thousands at a glance. It means he is hundreds of times more skilled than the typical curse sorcerers. Being hundreds of times more skilled at the Qi building grand perfection stage meant his power is virtually no different from core formation. Byuk Moon Seong continues to speak towards the dark dome of curses. As I said, it's time for the old monster L to wake up. I know. A rough voice echoes from the dark center. The voice is dark, unlike a human's, with an eerie effect that intimidates the listener. Hurry up, lead the way, quote. Yes, understood. Then, it happens. Wait, aren't you a bit too commanding, even considering everything? One of the cultivators who followed Byuk Moon Seong spoke towards the dark dome. We came to visit, yet you talk without showing your face. Your cultivation seems only to be a chi building, so, is it right to be so disrespectful to us, core formation cultivators? Miss Gongmyo, Byuk Moon Seong, with a pale face, tries to stop the cultivator from the Gongmyo clan. But Miss Gongmyo is unrelenting. They say you're a madman, wandering the mountainous regions of Biokra in the dark, watching fan dances, and suddenly screaming and rampaging. I would understand if you were really insane, but since you can talk. Quiet, please. Just then, coo-goo-goo-goo-goo-goo. From the black dome, a mass of dark curse spells begin pouring towards her. Swoosh. The mass of curses transform into a giant black hand, reaching out as if to engulf her. Eek. The woman from the Gongmyo clan frowns, forming a seal to deploy a defensive spell. A blue sphere blocks the black hand. What is this madness? You. And, as she is about to express her anger, the protective shield touched by the black hand begins to decay and crumble. What? Miss Gongmyo, use the holy concentration talisman. At Byuk Moon Seong's shout, she takes out a talisman. And at that moment, the black hand strikes her. Boom, she's sent flying by the black hand, crashing into the opposite hillside. A cloud of dust billows. Wait, you crazy, what are you doing to Gongmyo Uni? Miss Jin, stay calm, I'll resolve this through conversation. Young noble Byuk, stay put. Don't underestimate the Jin clan. As she forms her hand seals with a vigorous motion, thousands of fire pellets appear around her, filling all directions. Burn that insolent shadow to ashes. Go. With a roaring sound, the fire pellets begin to move in unison. However, rain, she, collide, chua jua 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 jua. From within the black domain, hundreds of curse spells fly towards her like arrows with incredible speed. The curse spells explode the fire pellets, causing a massive explosion, and a few pass by her body. Whist. A small droplet of blood drops from her cheek. How dare you, just a chi building stage. However, the entity within the black mass clicks its tongue. It's over. What nonsense. I haven't even shown my true power yet. Watch, I'll show you the magical arts of Jin clan's fiery silk flame heat wave. Hooah! Around her, flames resembling silky drapes begin to flicker. The heat from the flaming silks soar infinitely, drying up the moisture in the surrounding terrain. But the entity within the darkness remains silent. Instead, with a hand seal, a clay figure rises from below. Silently. Then, a curse spell floats in the air. There is a drop of blood on the curse spell. Take this. Simultaneously, the Jin clan cultivator unleashes her spell, while the entity within the black domain flicks their finger, moving the blood-stained curse spell over the clay figure to be absorbed. And that was it. Fizz. What? Why hesitate? Go ahead, attack. She stands dumbfounded for a moment, then looks at the clay figure. The curses, transformed and embedded in every corner of the clay figure's body, are situated precisely at the spiritual meridians used for casting spells. You can't do it. Silently, the figure within the black sphere forms another hand seal, and red ink appears on the neck of the clay figure. In the next moment, she feels a strange sensation and converges a mirror to look at her own neck. What? The same mark, with red ink, appeared on her neck, just like on the clay figure. To allow blood to a cursed sorcerer, how naive. What do you think will happen if I strike this neck? She stands in shock, trembling like a leaf in terror. The trickle of blood from her cheek flows steadily. Though it was just a very thin cut, the blood strangely wouldn't stop. Swoosh. Suddenly, the sound of a sword being unsheathed echoes from within the darkness. Step, step, and then, the black figure approaches the clay figure. And no, don't do that. Anticipating her fate, she pleads with a pale face. Just then, that's enough, cultivator Seo. Byuk Moon Seong appears, standing between the clay figure and Seo Eun-yun. It's not right for allies to fight among themselves, especially when the day to capture the old monster is approaching. So be it. Snap. As he speaks, he snaps his finger, and the Jin clan cultivator sees the cursed spells that had penetrated her cheek and body being expelled and returning to the black dome. The same happens to her friend from the Gonmyo clan, as black curses emerge from her body. Only then did they look at the person in front of them. Being a chi building did not mean they are the same. He just hasn't reached core formation yet. His power is essentially no different from core formation. This is the decisive weapon to fight against the nascent soul old monster L. She closes her mouth and approaches the Gonmyo clan cultivator. Koog. The woman from the Gonmyo clan is holding a talisman imbued with the power of blessings in her hand. The power of blessings seemed to neutralize the curse, preventing her body from decaying instantly from the single strike, but she appears to have sustained some internal injuries. Then, let's go. Whoosh. Scattering dark curse spells, Seo Eun-yun moves from within the curses. He hides in the darkness and flies away into the sky. Byuk Moon Seong, after glancing at the women for a moment, extends a purification talisman and healing talisman to them. Even though Cultivator Seo has retracted the curses, use the purification talisman to draw out the curse's poison once more before healing. His curses are especially toxic, and one can suffer severe aftereffects if they assume it's safe just because the curse is gone. Thank you, young noble Byuk. And, Byuk Moon Seong frowns slightly and warns the two women. Since both of you are injured like this, I recommend not participating in the battle against the nascent soul old monster. It'd instant death and you'd only serve as a snack for that nascent soul devil. Byuk Moon Seong swallowed his last words and turned around. Suddenly, something sparkling catches his eye in the depths of the cave from which Seo Eun-yun had emerged. That is, drawn to the sparkling object, Byuk Moon Seong approaches it. It's a glass sculpture. The delicately crafted glass sculpture depicts a pair of a man and a woman dancing with fans. While the man's face is not clear, the woman's face is crafted so meticulously that one can almost recognize her. Byuk Moon Seong stares at the glass sculpture, especially at the woman, with an indescribably complex expression. After a moment of contemplation, he picks up the sculpture, stores it in his storage bag, and leaves the cave to pursue Seo Eun-yun. Kugugugugugugu, Eastern Biokra, the land where a city named Cheonsak City stood 200 years ago. There, a dark shadow descends. Step, the shadow steps on the land, now turned into a sandy beach. It's been a long time. Everyone, Seo Eun-yun, the shadow, looks around with a bitter voice. The graves he made, the glass swords, all of them, buried under the sand over the long years, have lost their original forms. In about a month, the time will come. To keep my promise from that day, I will, definitely give it my all. After gazing at the sand for a while, he forms a hand seal. Whoosh, curse spells seep from his body, scattering a dark windstorm in all directions. The massive storm scatters the sand of Cheonsak City, blowing it around. Shortly after, below the sand, there, a graveyard with numerous worn glass swords reveals itself. Some of the 200-year-old buildings are still sporadically standing. Among the buildings, Seo Eun-yun walks towards the workshop of Buk Hyung-hwa, still maintaining most of its original structure. This place is also about to collapse with no one to maintain it. The workshop barely held its shape, on the verge of collapsing. Perhaps it would crumble with just a slight touch from Seo Eun-yun. He looks around. Coming back later to dig through the sand would be absurd. He takes out flags and magic artifacts from his possession. These are the magic artifacts he had bought at the Spirit Path conference before coming here. Shik. Thump. The flags and magic artifacts fly in all directions, embedding themselves into the ground, preventing the sandstorm from covering the graveyard. It's just a formation with the sole purpose to block the sandstorm. Nothing more, nothing less. Seo Eun-yun looks at the set formation and surveys the surroundings. The glass swords he had made are all broken and crumbled, with not many maintaining their shape. Out of the thousands he made, only about 5,000 remain in any recognizable form. Whoosh. Using sword control, Seo Eun-yun selects 3,000 intact glass swords. I'm sorry to come to you in this state. I need your strength. Please understand, it isn't just Buk Hyung-hwa. The neighbors who blessed us, me and her. Every life, every connection that lived in this city. They are all precious to me. Therefore, this revenge cannot be completed by my hands alone. It must be done with everyone's strength. Seo Eun-yun pulls the swords embedded in their graves towards him. The Dharma treasure, the colorless glass sword, is a magic artifact treated as a set of 3,000 flying swords. Seo Eun-hyun takes out the blueprint left by Buk Hyung-hwa for the colorless glass sword. The method to make the colorless glass sword is simple. Make 3,000 flying swords out of glass. Carve a simple spiritual energy circuit on each glass sword. However, the circuit on each sword must be slightly different. The slight variations follow a set of rules established by Buk Hyonghwa, and it's enough to just slightly adjust the direction of the circuits according to those rules. Day and night changes rapidly. Seo Eun-yun successfully engraved all the spiritual energy circuits on the 3,000 worn glass swords. After engraving a single spiritual energy circuit on each of the 3,000 swords, Seo Eun-hyeon added 1 or 2 basic incantation scripts that are usually added onto Dharma treasures for each, then infused them with spiritual power. Whoosh! Thus, the colorless glass sword recognized him as their master. A truly, maddeningly simple refining process. The materials are easy to acquire, and the refining method is simple. For testing the formless sword with it, Seo Eun-yun decides to test its power in front of Yuan Li. After all, it's meant to cut his neck. There is no way she would have made it with insufficient power. After looking at the completed colorless glass swords, he continues to verify with the blueprint she left behind. It's completed without any issues. Rustle. Then, Seo Eun-yun reads the words written at the bottom of the blueprint. Words he had read numerous times before coming here. Words she left for him. Orabeoni, the colorless glass sword is a set of 3,000 as a Dharma treasure. It might seem like a lot, but seeing how you handle flying swords, I thought you can definitely manage it. Did you know? Originally, the number for the colorless glass sword wasn't 3,000, but 3,650. Did you know that yesterday marked exactly 10 years since you came to Cheonsak City? The colorless glass sword is made to commemorate that. A Dharma treasure made to commemorate each day you spent here. However, I left the remaining 650 sets incomplete on purpose, hoping we could design and create them together, so I made it operate only with 3,000 sets. It's still incomplete, so I hope we can finish it together in the future. Will you tell me your answer? Chiik chiik. Black tears drop one by one from Seo Eun-yun's face covered in the shadows. The fallen tears scatter into curse spells, corroding the sand. Hiss. The sand beneath Seo Eun-yun begins to corrode wildly. The curse spells surrounding him grow denser. I will carry this in my heart. I will complete it. Seo Eun-yun looks at Buk Hyonghwa's grave. I will be back. And then, he leaves the grounds of Cheonsak City with the 3,000 set colorless glass sword. Whoosh! As he walks through the air after leaving Cheonsak City, his eyes catch someone. It's Byuk Moon-seong, riding on a flying sword Dharma treasure. What is it? I was waiting for you. The head of my clan tasked me with escorting you. Sorrow is a deep blue color. Your consciousness is also deep blue. You weren't waiting for me. You were mourning for her, weren't you? Byuk Moon-seong did not respond, only turning his head away. After this war ends, Seo Eun-yun speaks to Byuk Moon-seong. Let's go together, and mourn her together. Let's go quickly. Yes. The two men fly towards the center of the heaven-treading desert. Towards the sealing place of Yuan Li. The time has come to witness the long-awaited conclusion.